So while we wait for our guests, we can just keep resharing and tapping on the like button. Today we're supposed to discuss democracy. The topic has democracy delivered for Nigeria. And our guest for today is the ADC gubernatorial candidate for Lagos State, Gbadebo Rhodes Vivour. So he's supposed to join us any moment from now. So Madia, do you have like any expectation for this session?
Yeah, like always. Very impactful deliberations. At the end of the day, we should be able to take home something and think about it, ponder about it till we are asked to go to the polls and just elect our leaders. This is pre-election year, and we're expecting so much. Conversations like this should incite change. It should bring about that change that we're clamoring for. So I'm expecting a lot. I'm expecting people to contribute. I'm expecting not so smooth a question and answer session, but it'll be all right. So while we're waiting for our guests, I'd like to reiterate that we've been talking about how the Surge is not a political platform. We're very apolitical. So what we can do is always reiterate that. So I know that a lot of people come here to look for trouble and all that. Please, let's not do that today. Let's come here to talk. Meaningful conversation. If you're not bothered about what's happening in Nigeria, I am bothered. So let's do the best that we can to have meaningful conversation. Let's not come with that very hate speech kind of thing. No personal attacks, please. Let nobody attack anyone. If you have conversations, you have questions you want to ask, some of the questions might not be the kind of question the guest might want to hear, but these questions have to be asked. So let's be very professional. I know some of us are not professional, yes, but it's okay. Let's do our best to be circumspect. It's very important. Only say things that are related to what we're discussing. Let's not go outside the borderline. Yeah, basically.
You know,
Guys,
yeah, Solomon.
sorry, Hugo, I just wanted to remind you guys, please don't forget to welcome those ex-PDP that they camp to APC, that they camp to ADC, that we don't even know which way they are facing
Are
right
we
now.
doing that right
Those ones
now?
are
Okay,
those
let's
ones are
do
also very
that.
welcome.
Okay.
Someone is asking, is our freedom of speech being limited now?
No, it's not. It's not. Like I said, you're going to ask questions that, but that attack, we don't want personal attack here. Don't attack anyone. It's not a battleground.
Yeah.
Exactly, Madia. Sorry,
I
Ugo. If I may even
think I
say,
saw GRV.
I agree with Madia. sorry, Ugo.
Yeah,
So it's not a battleground. We're not fighting. Like, we can argue respectfully and with civility and make our points without necessarily throwing punches. So, Madia, thank you very much. I'm so with you this evening. Thank you, Ugo.
Hi, Ruth.
Guys, I saw GRV. I don't know if he's still here, but I saw that account coming.
He's here. I just sent him a request.
Okay.
Oga Solo, how far? What's up?
Mr. Barron, I'm very well, thank you.
I think our guest is here.
Abe is here.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we will have to proceed with the rest of the show. Our guest for today is here,
Okay, go to
and Madi, are you here too? Okay, I can
Yes, I
see you.
am.
Um, so so welcome to yet another interesting session of the Surge Network. The Surge is a platform where we discuss on issues bordering around the society, governance, politics, but we must also state that the Surge is an apolitical platform where we give everybody the voice to discuss and deliberate and give the people the platform to ask questions to most of the major stakeholders and those that play a part in the polity. And for today's session, I'll have as my co-moderator, Madia. Madia is here. Madia, you can say hi.
Hi, good evening and welcome, everyone.
Okay, and today's topic is a very defining question. Has democracy delivered for Nigeria? And having with us today as a guest is Chief Gbadebo Rose Vivour. Chief Gbadebo Patrick Rose Vivour is also known as GRV. He's a Nigerian architect, an entrepreneur, a politician, and he was the gubernatorial candidate for Labour Party for the Lagos State gubernatorial election in 2023. And in that election, he came as the runner-up. So far, he is the current candidate for the ADC in the 2027 gubernatorial election in Lagos State. Today, he will be here to discuss and join and aid in the conversation as we ask this pertinent question: has democracy delivered for Nigeria? So, ladies and gentlemen, join us as we welcome GRV to the conversations today. Welcome, sir. So, sir, yeah,
welcome.
welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. So it's at this point you'd give more like an introductory remark for our guests so they know who you are from your perspective. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Uh, well, my name is Gbadebo, as you rightly said. Um, I'm a Lagosian, Nigerian. My first foray into politics was in 2017 when I ran for local government chairman. After which I ran for the Senate in 2019, then gubernatorial in 2023. I believe in Nigeria. I believe that we have a lot of work to do as young people to make democracy work for us. I also believe in the youth of this country. They give me the energy to keep doing what I do. I'm an architect by profession. Like you said, I have interest in real estate, in mining and technology, and in agro export. Um, what else? I'm a father and a husband, and yeah, Nigerian. I don't. You've already done such a good job of introduction, so I don't really know what else I can say in that regard.
All right, sir. Thank you. So, in line with the topic for today, Nigeria has been practicing uninterrupted democracy since 1999. And prior to then, we were set up as a democratic state with various interruptions of military interventions and coups. But so far, so good. We've gotten to a point where, with the state of the nation, persons are beginning to ask pertinent questions. And one of such questions is the topic for our discussion today: has democracy delivered for Nigeria? And would like to go into this conversation head on. As a
Okay.
businessman, politician, has democracy delivered for Nigeria today?
No, democracy has failed Nigeria. It has failed Nigeria, but then I think about that and I think about the potential for democracy to work for Nigeria. Like I'll say,
under Alhaji Lateef Jakonde, democracy worked in Nigeria, at least to a very good extent for Lagos. I would even go as far as saying that in 1999, democracy to a large extent worked for Nigeria in relation to presidency of Chief Olusegun Obasanjo. It was not perfect. I'm not saying it was perfect, but I do know that at the time, um, in 2008, we're graduating from school in the States, and I say this all the time. Myself and all my friends that were in the topmost schools all over the world were all rushing back to Nigeria because we felt that we're going to miss out, right? There was such prospects, there was such hope in the country. So I feel that democracy, to a large extent, has really taken um, a back seat in this country since 2015. I think the height of this idea that the people have power was very visible in 2015, where people removed the sitting government and we believed that we had a democracy, power belonged to the people, who democracy is supposed to represent. But I think that has sort of gone downhill since then. Um, I feel that in all parameters, whether it's education, whether it's healthcare, whether it's security, whether it is ease of doing business, whether it is standard of living, I don't think that anybody will say that Nigeria is better off today than we were in 2015. I think that would be a very difficult argument to pull off. Democracy, to a large extent, I also feel that Nigeria has not really taken time to define a democracy that is unique to to itself. It has mainly been a copy and paste generally, and then people just make do with what they want that they can use to get the most out of the system for themselves. When you look at the entire European Union, there's no one country in the entire European Union that has the same political structure or the same political paradigm. It's all a mix that they've worked out over centuries, over a period of time, um, that maximizes their interests as a people, as a collective. The democratic system that's practiced in France is very different from that that's practiced in Germany, which is very different from that that's practiced in England, right? And we've just gone the British system that didn't quite work, and then we went to the American system. I think that on the long run, we as a people need to redefine and rethink and revise this concept of democracy in a way that can work for us and our own peculiarities, especially as a nation with so many different people. So those are my thoughts.
Okay, so thank you so much. Yeah. Madia.
All right. Thank you very much. GRV, I'd like to say welcome again to the Surge
Thank you.
and to everyone who's just joined. My name is Mardia Omar. We made our introductions when you were trying to join, so I'll be co-moderating this evening. So, I love the fact that you actually told us about your journey into the political space. And of course, it's no news that you are one of the youngest or the most famous or youngest famous politician in Nigeria. I'm saying this because of what transpired in the last election, 2023. And of course, I'd like to say congratulations to you. You made your mark, and we're going
Thank you.
again in 2027. Now, let's talk about the not too young to run. You mentioned that you started your political journey in 2017 when you applied for the local government position, Ikeja local government, to be precise.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the not too young to run bill in Nigeria. You're one of the biggest beneficiary, if I can say that, about the
Mm.
not too young to run. How has that fared in Nigeria after years of assent into that bill?
I think I've seen some young people come out and benefited from that. I was 35 when I ran for Senate of Lagos West. I think more than anything, it was the idea that came into political parties that, you are not too young to run. It was that affirmative sort of thinking that came to the minds of leaders that really helped, because people started looking at this thing from a very different angle. And I think that was very positive. There have been some young people that I've seen come out for House of Rep, even for Senate. So I think any step, it's definitely a step in the right direction. Obviously, there are a lot of challenges along the way for young people, whether it's the cost that it involves, but then also there's a very positive line in there where most parties, at least in the ADC, I know for a fact, and I'm sure in several other parties, they made concessions for people that are under 35 and people that and females, right? So that's also of benefit there. But those challenges still remain in terms of the kind of resources that one needs to go into politics. That would be a challenge. Also, the fact that if you're starting politics quite young, it takes quite a lot of. The thing that politics takes the most from a human being is not necessarily money; it's time. It's productive time. So when you start in your very productive years, which is when you're young, right? So it does take quite a bit of time. It takes quite a bit of time out of your career and your work that is supposed to use to earn money. That's a challenge as well. But other than that, if I feel that it's definitely a step in the right direction, and I hope that parties continue to evolve to encourage young people to come in, because again, this country is made up of over 60% of youth. So it's very important that our democracy is representative.
Okay. So we just
Okay,
commemorated.
okay, sir.
All right. You want to go? We'll go.
Oh yeah, yes, a quick one, yeah. Um, from your question, yeah. I had a quick a question after you analyzed the process we've gone, the whole democratic process, and how you feel that democracy has not really done well for us in the country, given our development so far. So, are there peculiar benchmarks you can pick out as to measure the failure or success of democracy in this country? Are there peculiar benchmarks you're holding on to? Hello, sir. Are you here?
I think his live was paused. It's paused.
The call is on a call. That's a
Yeah.
call.
Okay. Okay, so we'll just use this time out to remind everyone on this live broadcast to please share, and also please know that the Surge is a politically neutral platform, and the whole essence is to create a platform where people can have these conversations in the most convenient and sane mode, where we can have and speak freely, and we discourage.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, so sorry. I think I lost you for a bit. I was saying that the polity, right? The polity being stable is a reflection of their belief in democracy. It's a reflection of their belief in institutions that guard democracy, whether it's their belief that their votes will count, whether it's their belief that when they go to judiciary they'll get justice, whether it's their belief that people in the House of Rep and the Senate are representing them and representing their interests to the fullest. Right? All these things create stability in the polity, right? So that's the first thing. The second thing is quality of governance that people are getting all the way down to the grassroots, quality of their primary health care, the quality of their inner roads, the quality of their sanitation and their environment, from the local government level all the way up to the state government level. A lot of these things are lacking across the country. If you go and ask the average Nigerian, do you believe your vote counts? I don't think up to 6 out of 10 will say that I don't even think 3 out of 10 will say that they believe their vote to count. People hope in the system that the system will be better, and the fact that people have to hope in a system is already an indictment of that system in itself. When somebody goes to go and vote in America, they are not hoping that their vote will count. They know their vote will count. You know, so these are things that we ought to have grown and had our democracy, which I believe, even from Goodluck Jonathan, by the time they introduced the PVC card, there was a genuine attempt to make elections, even from Yaradua, sorry, from Yaradua, there was a genuine attempt to make our votes start to count. You look at places like Ghana, you look at places like South Africa, you look at their electioneering system, where people are not going to court after elections. The president is calling to congratulate the other person because he knows he lost free and fairly. That is growth in democracy, and it's something that's sorely lacking in Nigeria.
Okay. Then on the flip side, like I
Mm.
had stated earlier, we've had 25 years of uninterrupted democratic rule since 1999. Are there aspects of this 25 years that we can say these are Nigeria's biggest democratic achievements outside the many failings? Are there aspects
I
you can
think,
point to and say, okay, yeah.
yeah, I think the 2015 election, where you saw a handover from one party to another, where you saw a president say he's stepping away from government because he believes that, he lost the election, or it was announced that he lost the election. That peaceful transition of governance, I think that's a very high point in our democracy. Even though people look back and I'm sure they have a rethink about what happened then, but that was a high point. Um, there, there's some laws that have been passed, but that's really more judiciary than democracy. Our judiciary has passed some fundamental laws at Supreme Court level that change the quality of lives of people, um, and that's positive. Um, Honestly, I'm struggling. I'm struggling to think of. I feel that Nigeria has been in a nosedive for some time now. It has been. Um, I tell people that I remember when I had just graduated not too long. I would change 1 million naira for £4,000. I have that memory. It's not somebody else's memory, it's my memory. And I don't think you can get £500 now for the same amount of money. So we've been in nosedive for some time.
So, is Nigeria's problem bad leaders or weak institutions? What do you think?
I think that I don't. That's a very good question. For a long time, people of Nigeria were not taking politics seriously. I know the difference between the people that I campaigned to in 2017 compared to people that I campaigned to in 2023, right? A lot of people just are not really, they don't, it's almost like people say they're not suffering enough, or they've not realized how bad things are enough, or they don't understand the importance of governance and putting people in and fighting for it. A lot of people are just not bothered. So I think we have to start there, because the kind of, if a leader buys his way into office, there's a way that leader is going to behave. And you can complain all you want, but that leader does not really send you. Their main aim is to accumulate a huge amount of money so that next elections they would unleash enormous amount of resources on the polity and get their way again. Now, if the people get behind a person, a candidate, for the right reasons, because again, if the reason why you're electing somebody is because I don't know, you just like them. Maybe you like the way they make a joke, or you like their aura, you don't really care much for their vision, you don't really care much for their ideas, you don't really care much for their character or their antecedents, then you will get what you put in, right? So I would say that we need to put in leaders that are servant leaders. You look back at some of our glory times. For me, my hero is Alhaji Lateef Jakonde, Paolo. These were people that were philosopher kings. I've talked about this for again and again. Why do I talk about these people? Why? Because their intellectual depth was renowned. You will not say that Alhaji Lateef Jakonde or Chief Obafemi Awolowo were billionaires or millionaires or they were big men. No, I don't think you can compare. No, no, no. There were people, they were professionals, they were young men, they had a vision, they had courage, and they sold their vision, they sold their ideas, and were voted for because of those ideas. And when ideas rule the polity, when ideas rule governance, then you get the benefit of it. Like Alhaji Lateef Jakonde, it was about his ideas. The ideas that I brought to education, the ideas that I brought to mass housing, the ideas that I brought to healthcare and healthcare delivery and healthcare service. It was ideas. Ideas of Chief Obafemi Awolowo with free education, with the industrial settlements. These were ideas. But then you go into an election where somebody is telling that data does not matter, that now statistics will go chop. He just comes, he campaigns by yapping people, not really saying much, not even attending debates. This is how low we have sunk as a people. You have people that want to lead you and they don't care enough to attend a debate. From the governors to the president, they don't care. Now, if people don't care to share a vision, you can be sure that all they are going to do is self-division. And that's not a play on words. It's just what it is. It's a fact. If a person has a vision, you want to gather as many people as possible to tell them, this is my vision. This is what I plan to do. This is how I think I'll do it. But if you don't have a vision to sell, you just want to be hitting people's heads together. So you divide them by tribe, by language, by religion, have them fighting themselves so you can just find your way to get into power. Because it's not really about them. You're not really going in because of them. You're going in to perpetuate yourself. So I feel that a lot of Nigerians get lost in the sauce. Like they almost look at this thing like a football match or Big Brother, where is my tribesman or is the same man that goes to my church or is a Muslim, without really thinking about the real impact on their lives after the election. But then I think also, when I think about that, I also realize that a reason for that, a lot of Nigerians have not truly experienced good governance for a good amount of time. I feel under the Obasanjo government, people started to experience good governance. Again, I know for a fact people were moving back. It was reverse jackpot, it was jackpot there. People were coming back, right? And for a government to be able to do that without any propaganda, without paying anybody, everybody just realized that Nigeria is where it is to be, is the place to be, and people were coming back. So it's possible, but at the same time, I feel that as a people we need to do a lot better. Being divided by tribe, by religion, as opposed to capacity, competence, character. You look at China. Look at the quality of leaders that they have. A lot of them are scientists, engineers. They went to top schools. They are brilliant people. And you see the effect in their governance. But if somebody is hiding a certificate by lawyers and just that basic thing, you can't share, okay, what do we expect? So I think that's where, I think so from the people, it starts from the people. We need to take our elections seriously. Like really seriously, we need to think about it in our own selfish interest. The people that are pushing for a government to come into power, they're directly benefiting. You that are not directly benefiting, okay, what will it look like if you have a government that is working in your favor? Your primary education, your primary healthcare, how would that feel? And I think also politicians need to sell this vision more to people. You need to let people know this is what it would look like. You need to visualize it and bring that message down to the grassroots. So that's the politician's part. The people's parties take their elections seriously. And I think when we have servant leaders in office, they will create institutions that are also servant institutions, and that would allow for a better country to evolve from there.
Okay, so we're talking about all of this, and one thing that keeps stirring up in my mind is the fact that there's a disconnect. If we're going to solve this problem of disconnection, why do citizens often feel disconnected from government after elections? Because you're talking about using this election to bring in good leaders. We're talking about how people are not even, doing well when it comes to election. But after the election, there's some sort of disconnect. What do you feel is the problem? Why are we getting it
I
over?
think I think the disconnect is usually one because when people get invested in an election, the person that they wanted to go into office did not go into office. Like if you look at Abia State now with Alex Oti, I don't think you say there's a disconnect. There's a very healthy connection between the people that voted him into office and him. He's constantly in feedback loops. You see him talking to his people. He's not just going and commissioning. He's talking. He's engaging. There is feedback. There's a whole feedback system that's going on there because he is there for service. The people voted him in a majority. The lady that was supposed to be in charge of his election stood for justice, and people have gotten what they want, and he's giving them what he promised them. So there is fantastic connect. The disconnect is when a person comes into office and the whole state is quiet, and that person tell you that I want a majority. It makes no sense. If a person wins with a majority, you will not come out on the street and the whole place is quiet as if somebody died. Right? I don't know if anybody follows the New York elections with Mamdani. You see, that is somebody
Yeah.
that came from 0.1% being known to campaigning, and then he won, and then he's the mayor, and he's delivering on his promises in his first 100 days. And you see the connection between the people that voted for him and him because they are working together. It's symbiotic. If Mamdani did not win, with all the fervor that he created, there will be no connection. There'll be a disconnect. So I think that's where it is. The politics and the elections and INEC, they are not producing the candidates that the people come out to support, that the people want overwhelmingly. So that's where disconnect comes in.
All right. I was to ask what reforms are necessary to make leaders more accountable. But from your last closure, it feels probably it still boils down to elections. Now, to the average Nigerian struggling with inflation, unemployment, insecurity, how would you now? Because first of all, you've asserted that democracy is failing. You also pointed out that you don't, you feel the democratic system we practice uniquely tailored to our peculiarities. Now, an average Nigerian seeing all these things, seeing the failure of government over time, would you think it would be out of place for them to seek for alternatives to democracy?
I think that has to be done as a collective, right? Because by the time you start seeking alternatives, you can create a whole chaotic situation. People need to sit down. The best thinkers, it's not just about reverting to this type of government or that type of government. The best thinkers of our country, we need to sit down and think about a system that works for us, that would maximize our resources, improve and play on our comparative advantage, and just create a better union that everybody feels that they are part of, which will then in turn end this whole tribalism situation we are dealing with and the divisiveness that's come into our polity. So I think that's what has to happen. It cannot be just people just taking it upon themselves. That then causes distractions, causes potential civil war, all of that. And I think the average Nigerian is suffering too much to now put that on them as well. So it needs to be a collective, visionary leaders that people trust, that the people believe in, be able to pull off something like that. Leaders that have huge credibility with the people, be able to pull off something like that.
All right. Um, Now we can deduce the following: that number one, democracy has not been favorable to us. Number two, whatever alternative we're seeking has to be discussed. But now we are almost at an electioneering year. It means that what is immediately in front of us is an election. And you ran for office in 2023. You had a first time experience. I believe you've had experience
There's
beyond what
something.
a
Sorry, I'm
lot
so
of us
sorry.
here
Yeah,
have.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Please, I just saw a very important comment that someone just said. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, but this is a very important point. The person said tribalism has been in Nigeria from time immemorial, so stop these long talks. I would have thought this before, but over the weekend I was with, no, not the weekend, on Thursday, a gentleman was with me, and he used to accompany Abiola when Abiola was campaigning, and he said to me that Abiola beat his opponent at his polling unit. That is a Yoruba man beat a bona fide northerner at his polling unit. He beat him at his ward. He beat him at his local government. He beat him at his state. This was a ticket that was a Muslim ticket. A Muslim ticket. And he beat the man at his polling unit. And he said to me, because we're talking about, choice of VP, choice of deputy, all of that, and we're just talking about all the factors. You need to consider the religion, consider all these things, tribe and everything. And he just shook his head and was just like, he said, we have really fallen as a nation. He's a northerner. He will tell me how Abiola would drive down, how Abiola would go and visit his parents, his father when his mother died. Even before he got to see his father, Abiola had already been there and had gone back to Lagos. And I guess his point was, if that election was able to stand and we had that kind of thinking in government, and like if it worked, our union would have been so much better, right? Because since then, what we've had are politicians that play on division. They play on things that have nothing to do with the economy. They play on things that have nothing to do with security. They play on things that have nothing to do with the quality of education that we have in Nigeria. They just come and just use our heads to hit each other. No vision, no policy, no nothing. So I just wanted, because a lot of people are going to sell this narrative that the tatters that we are in has always been, but it's a lie. People need to go and research MK Abiola's elections to show that there was a time where there was truly hope in this country and we came together as Nigerians. I'm so sorry for cutting you off. You can go ahead.
All right, all right. That's a good one. So the question I wanted to ask you is, if the situation is like this and we're more like in a stalemate that remain the same, and you're running for office again, 2027, what would you most likely do differently? Because if we are repeating the circle, you've had a first time experience. What would you most likely do differently, seeing the problem we're in, seeing the disconnect, and the state of the nation?
Yes. So for me, since 2023, I've not rested. We did a solid post-mortem on that election where we're caught off guard, mistakes that I made, mistakes my campaign made, and we've built on those mistakes and we've solidified ourselves at the grassroots. We also built a fantastic coalition in the ADC, which is why, I trust in the coalition that we've built in the ADC. A group of people from all over Nigeria, because again, Lagos is a mini Nigeria, and we need to pull together. The people that are going to do well in the next elections are people that will unite people as opposed to divide people. And that's going to be the major difference in this next election, because people have seen all across tribes that the failing of governance does not select, it's not biased. Insecurity will touch everybody, from Borno all the way to Ogun State, all the way to Lagos. A poor economy will touch everybody, from the southeast to the south to Ogun State to Kogi to Kwara. And people are suffering in ways that they've never experienced before. So it's in the uniting people and selling a vision and selling an idea that they can truly get behind. So that is it on the politics, and just being better organized, way more organized than when in 2023. Structure matters. Structure matters a great deal. Being able to plan for desperate politicians that want to govern people but also want to use violence to work their way into office, standing against that, being able to resist that. These are factors that will, make a great deal of difference in the next elections. So yeah.
All right. Ethnicity has always been an influence in our democracy. And just like you pointed out from the comment, when you ran for office in 2023, there were narratives online saying you were partly Yoruba, partly Igbo, and all that. And also, we had the Muslim ticket of 2023. Currently, the North and South power sharing, where the current president is from Southern Nigeria and expected to, on the assumption that the North did 2 terms and the South deserves to go for 2 terms. And your party, the ADC, is pushing the presidential candidate of your party is from Northern Nigeria. Okay. And so if you are, for every leader would be sensitive to the pulse of the nation. Yes, ethnicity might not have, or tribalism might not have played a role during the time of Abiola, but it's here now, and leaders try to be sensitive to it. Currently, to show you the impact of that, this current administration has sort of been nicknamed a Lagos cabinet, because virtually everything appointments come from either Lagos or Southwest. Okay, so I would like to know your stand on ethnicity as regards the politics of Nigeria. You met your intersection, your statement initially was as regards how it used to be before, but currently, what is your take on it?
Well, in relation to Lagos, you have a mini Nigeria, and you want a situation where um, you sell a vision that everybody can buy into. And that's what it is for me. I feel that, there are a lot of people that felt that the best solution would be their Yoruba brother being president, and they rally anybody that was opposed to that was called an Omali, and a lot of those people are not very happy right now. A lot of them are very hungry. A lot of them are their quality of their life now is worse, way worse than it was before 2015, right? So there's that reality, and I think that that's the reality that we are facing. Obviously, we all went into a coalition in the hope that, and at in Ibadan at the last coalition meeting, which I attended, that Sheyi Makinde, His Excellency Sheyi Makinde hosted. The idea was that the coalition, the opposition, was going to bring out only one person. We're all going to stick together, consult, do our primaries, do everything, and we're going to bring out one person. Because we know that if we did that, the elections will be over before 12 o'clock. Unfortunately, that did not play out. That did not work. And what has happened has happened. You now have almost 6 presidential candidates. And that's what it is. I'm running for governor, so honestly, I'm not really going to. That's above my pay grade. Talking about presidency, how this should have happened, how that should have happened, how there should have been primaries or no primaries. How everybody should have just surrendered to one person. because you then start to get conversations about what Jonathan did and how this time is still for this and that. And honestly, I think Nigerians are going through too much of a raw deal right now for me to start focusing on those debates. Um, I really want to get back to the time that Abiola could win an election in the north where a Yoruba man could be so loved, you know. Um, I want to get back to that. And then also, I think that moving forward, we need to enshrine this concept of rotational government. I think that's one of the things that's very important in redefining what our democracy is. A good model to look at is the cantonment system in Switzerland. We need to enshrine it, right? We need to enshrine it so that it's official. Aside that, my focus in this election is just setting a vision that everybody can buy into, making people understand that everybody's going to pay the price for bad governance, and just pushing that message forward and standing up against any intimidation or violence that they might want to bring out to us, and that's it.
Okay. Thank you very much. So far, you've done so well. Thank you for your time. And to everyone who joined the space this evening, I'd like to say thank you. Please share the space, like the space. There might be one person who forgot to join. You might just remind the person so the person joins, and let's make this very beautiful deliberation and make impact at the end of this conversation. This platform is not a political party. You already know that. We're very apolitical. And this is for us to have this conversation with people that matter, that leaders, basically. Now, let's talk about, political parties. I hear you talk about political parties, GRV, and something came to mind. For every leader, anybody vying for political positions in Nigeria, there are ingredients, there are processes that cannot be overlooked. One of such is a political party. In 2017, in 2020, in 2023, 2019, before 2023, I think the first time you contested under the People's Democratic Party, PDP, right? And then we have the Labour Party.
No, Kowa Party.
Okay, Kowa Party first. That's for the local government election, right?
Yes.
And then for the Senate, you contested under the People's Democratic Party. And then for the gubernatorial election, you contested under the Labour Party, which of course is one of the major problems we're having right now. Political parties. I've had the chance to speak to some politicians, some leaders. And one of the things that we talk about is our political parties needs to be reformed. There should be some sort of ideas that runs with this political party. Now, I'd like to pick your brain on this because it's a major problem. We have leaders who, people would just support because they belong to a political party. And then in the next election, we're now rushing to another political party, trying to build this alliance, trying to build trust, which of course is a problem. Now, let us understand what is the problem with our political party, because we cannot diverge it from our elections and everything that has to do with electing our leaders into government.
Our political party. I don't really think you framed your question properly. Let me tell you why. A political party is a reflection of the people in that party, right? And you see, you look at, okay, first of all, you framed this question by saying that I've moved from this to this to this to this. You see, I say that when you talk about a person moving, the person is either moving from opposition to a ruling party, or is moving from a ruling party to an opposition party. If you are moving in between opposition parties throughout your career, then what is the personal gain? Like, for instance, if you have been in PDP and you say you get tired of being opposition, so you are going to go and join the APC, especially in a state like Lagos, right? Then you can say, okay, this person has sold out on his ideals. So that's one box. The other box is, okay, what are the ideals of a political party? that would allow for people not to move, even if it's opposition or ruling party, for people not to be able to move in and out of parties as easily. And also, I have to say for the record, I did not move in and out of parties just because I felt like moving. I ran under Koa Party. I was campaigning and building the structure at the same time. For people that are politicians, they will know how difficult that is. You are running an election and you yourself, you are building the campaign of the political party at that same time. That is not sustainable. It can work for a local government, but say you want to do that for a state, I could not do that. I faced that reality on ground and I realized I need a structure. At that point, I could have joined the APC, but my conviction in what Lagos needs to move forward and the state capture that has happened with the APC cannot allow me coexist in a party like that. So I joined the PDP. I ran for Senate. After I ran for Senate, I not just jump and go to Labour Party. I stayed there, built structures all across the state, positioned myself to run for governor. When I wanted to run for governor, at the primaries, our leaders said no, they don't want me to run. I should be deputy to their candidate, to the person they want for candidate. Because at the end of the day, the party is supreme. The party decides who they want to fly their flag. I agreed. We shook hands. Later on, the gentleman now announced somebody else. Unfortunately, I'm not that kind of human being that just goes sits in the corner if I feel I've been cheated. So I joined another party and started from scratch, which was the Labour Party. Before I left the Labour Party, when caught, I spent money to try and create peace in that situation. If you look at my birthday last year, there were two groups that were brought together to try and solve the problem politically as opposed to through the courts. That did not succeed. And since 2023, I've been saying that we all need to come together. We all need a coalition to face Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We all need to come together. We cannot have a divided opposition to go into the election. So I joined the coalition, ADC. Now, some people wanted to move again. And I said, no, at this point, I cannot do that. Right? The ADC has not done anything negative to me. I've been part of the process of building the structure. I believe in the people in the party. We've worked very hard to give and take. We don't give and take. We've come together as a formidable structure. So I want to run on this party. So I just wanted to say that for reference. But to your question, ideologies in political parties are a reflection of ideologies in a society. So, in America, you're either pro-abortion or anti-abortion. You're either pro-increased tax or increased corporate tax, or you're anti-increased tax. In Nigeria, Zik was pro-federalism, Obafemi Awolowo was pro-regionalism. If you sit down and talk to Pa Adebanjo, he will tell you that in his early life, he was a Zikist. He believed in those ideas. And then later on, he had Awolowo's ideas, and he changed because he bought more into those ideas. It was not a tribal thing. It was about ideas and vision. Now, when you buy into that vision, you cannot just jump ship and go into another place. But then what are the big visions and ideas that are being sold today? That a party fully stands for today? That you say that all the people in that party, they stand for this thing. And because they stand for this thing, they cannot join the other people. I guess maybe in our lifetimes, it might come down to restructuring versus keeping the country the same way. If it's something that people put a lot of political will behind, or bigger ideas. I mean, there are bigger ideas. There are people that the Green Party, they're about sustainability, they're about environmental protection and things like that. So you'll not find a Green Party person just jump and go into a Tory party that is all pro mining and environmental degradation. So these bigger ideas and bigger concepts need to come into our society, need to be important to our society, and then that will that will start reflecting our politics. People will take a stand, people will choose a side of divide that they're on, and that will then start to create these ideologies within our political system.
All right. I'm glad that you understand my question regardless. But let's talk about your interest. You've indicated interest in contesting again. What motivates that decision despite the challenges of the Nigerian political landscape?
It's a good question, actually. Very, very good question. Because it's not easy to be in opposition in Lagos. It's very expensive. It's very dangerous. A lot of challenges. What gives me the energy are the people. I was walking when I went to go and submit my form in Abuja a month ago. I was in a hotel, so I walked. I guess I want to go for a walk. I walked just to go get some pastries, you know, and some ladies and some gentlemen just ran up to me. Said, "Are you GRV?" I said, "Yes." I'm like, "Oh my goodness, we're so proud of you. You give us so much hope." Blah 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 for like 15 minutes, and this was real. They just wanted to let me know, right? And then they just walked away. They didn't ask me for anything. They just walked away. Or my father is on a plane. He's going to Kano. No, he's in Kano. He's coming to Lagos, and then they see his last name. Some northerners see his last name, and they're like, "Are you the father of?" And they're like, "Oh wow, he's so nice." But they just start treating them so nicely, and there is grace and goodwill that comes with standing for something, and the impact, the seed that one is planting. I know communities that are going to today that we've done so much extensive grassroots work. I know the difference between how it is now compared to how it was in 2022, for instance. And just people just reaching out, they see you on the road, they see you in the place. Please, are you coming out again? Yes, I'm with you, I'm supporting you. And last election, this is what I did, this is what I did, this is what I did. I'm going to do it again. So much love. So love keeps me going. That's what it is. Love keeps me going. I believe that it's worth it. I believe that in succeeding, one will be without the puppet strings to allow us maximize the benefit to Lagosians, that allow us bring our vision to fruition without having to pay fees to Alpha Beta, without having to cut this money to give to this leader or this Baba, or give this contract to this man without doing any um, proper due diligence or proper tendering for it because Baba Sokwe. No, no, no. I think that is what gives me that energy that will be able to bring a huge amount of relief and good for the people of Lagos. So yeah, that's it.
Okay, I'll just ask you this question
All
from the audience. Aladun says, what has been your impact in Lagos since you lost the last election?
Okay, that's a very, very good question. We've shared thousands, tens of thousands of micro health insurance cards all over Lagos. If you go on my Instagram or my social media, you see the pictures there. Mainly because since I ran on that core party, I know how many people have died for several reasons. It was not their time. Either they were taking Agbo to treat something, and then a primary problem became a secondary problem. So it's micro health insurance cards. If you're not feeling well, you activate it. They tell you the closest hospital you can go to, sorry, the closest pharmacy where you live, closest to where you live. You can go there, pick up drugs for free. You can talk to health providers on the phone for free. You can get diagnostic tests as well. So to give a more intelligent means of health service delivery. So that's an initiative that I've used the RV Foundation to do since 2022. We've been doing this consistently until when I did my affirmation into the ADC, where the police came with dogs and hurt people. Even my sister, we had to rush her to a hospital to get her head stitched. And a lot of our staff were hurt as well. So there's still obviously significant level of trauma with them, but we're kicking it off again. Um, with the campaigns. So that's something that I'm very, very proud of. That's aside supporting a lot of community development work, community walks all over Lagos, um, traditional societies all over Lagos, scholarships that we've contributed to, community building exercises we've contributed to. I think that one is my main, because I've seen the impact, especially with the aged in our society. Just having healthcare workers come to check their BP, make sure they're okay, be able to follow up with them able to call somebody without leaving their homes. That's something I'm very, very proud of.
All right, all right. Thank you so much. So we've at this point we're going to grant some members of the audience to come up on stage and ask questions. Remember, this is the Surge Network, and we hold conversations like this from time to
I,
time on
yeah,
Sundays by 6 p.m.
please, I'm
Yes, sir.
really
You
sorry.
want
I'm
to?
really sorry. Yeah, I'll take two questions, please, because I have to go into a political meeting now, now,
Don't
now.
go
I'm
anywhere.
literally
Don't run
parked
away.
outside.
Don't
I'm
run
not
away.
running
We are here
away.
for
Sorry,
you.
sorry.
Don't run away.
We're going to take off this person. We're not.
Gbadebo was Vivour does not run
This
away from
conduct is not.
anybody. I don't understand.
Thank you. We appreciate the time you've spent so much with us. We've had you on
Yeah.
this show before,
If
so we
how long?
know,
If you
yes,
guys are
that you're
going to be
always
on,
willing.
if you guys are going to be on for another like 1 hour, I'll do my meeting, come back and rejoin you guys. But for now,
Okay, okay.
they're waiting for me, so
Let's
I'll
take the
take two
most we can
questions.
take now.
All right,
All
two
right. So,
questions.
Solomon.
Yeah, thank you. Look, Gbadebo, first of all, let me just say I commend you for the energy you have to continue this down this path that you have been treading, for the past few years. I think the last time I had the opportunity to see you was actually on this platform where we spoke to you before the elections, and I'm curious to see how much has changed in terms of your approach. I think the last time we spoke to you, I asked you specific questions, and there were questions asked by the audience actually that ended up going viral. So the question I have is, how important do you think the ethnic indigens, the communities, how important do you think their views are when it comes to governing places like Lagos? Right. So how are you? How important do you think accommodating their desires and ensuring that there's a democratic process that ensures that what they are asking for. For example, I think they asked you the question about Yoruba being the lingua franca, and I think that the answer to that question, I was surprised you answered it the way you did, because I thought you would perhaps allow the people to kind of decide what they want. So I'm curious to know what you think about sort of your position then. Has it changed, or is it still very much the same?
So I think that some key lessons that I learned from the last election were that one has to understand the terrain that they are in. So now I'm talking as a young man to fellow young people on this call. One has to understand terrain that they are in. I came into that election with the idea of, these are my ideas, this is my vision, this is how I think Lagos can be better. If you don't like it, you don't have to vote for me. If someone's ideas are better, vote for him. I'm not trying to rig Sonolu out. I'm not calling Sonolu names. I'm not telling you where his father is from or anything like that. I just have an idea to sell, right? Unfortunately, what I learned from that last election was that, Sonolu did not attend any debates, so clearly he did not have any idea to sell. And in the absence of ideas or vision, people will sell division. And if you play into those conversations, you've just given them fodder. Like Jimmy Agbaji was called Jimmy Chuku. I don't know why they did that. But again, the go-to for the APC in Lagos is never their antecedents or how many people they've lifted out of poverty or mass housing that they would have built. Nothing. It's always the same rhetoric, tribal and all of that. So, knowing now what I know, based on all of that, I'm not going to fall into any of those traps again, right? Um, and again, the conversation, because your conversation was prefaced on indigens, right? And there's that conversation about indigens versus all the. I'm not even going to fall into that again. I'm not doing that again. I have a vision to sell. The indigens of Lagos that have built such a wonderful culture that allows so many people feel welcome in Lagos. They deserve to be at the helm of affairs in the state. I think everybody will agree that that is fair. And we need a Lagos where people feel that, they are respected. Um, and everybody needs to feel that they are accommodated, right? Now, I feel that when people are looking for things to talk about that don't really relate to the cost of their lives, the cost of rent, the dirty Lagos, the smelly Lagos, the flooding that's currently happening in Lagos, we don't want to start talking about all these things. But again, I'm not falling into any of those traps again. I've gotten wiser. I've learned a lot of lessons. Lagos is Yoruba land. Um, indigenous Lagosians are Yoruba. They identify as Yoruba. They must be given a place of respect. Um, they must be also, because there's a lot of poverty that have affected my people, especially indigenous Lagosians. A lot of benefits that they should be deriving, they don't derive it. So that needs to be looked into. Languages are very important. I would love to see the situation where there is also an active preservation of certain languages, like Awori, for instance, the Egun language, for instance. There are so many Awori people, indigenous Lagosians, who don't know how to speak their language anymore because it's not common parlance. We could see that as an option for people to learn in schools. If government, the state assembly, wants to run things in a language, I'm executive, I'm not in legislature. I don't have any say in that. If people feel that that's the best way they want to conduct affairs, they're the legislature, they're representing the state. So I don't have any issue with that. My point is, let us also understand what Lagos is. Let's understand what Lagos is. Lagos has been this way since the 1700s, a melting pot of so many different people, Europeans, um, Africans, all the West Africans, to the rest of Nigeria. So that's what that is, and let's not lose sight of that, because that then kills the economic vibrancy of the state. So that's what I'll say to that. So second question, please.
All right. So, sir, while we go for the second question, we're going to appeal if you can return to us probably by the end
Yeah, I
of the
said I
hour.
will.
We're going to be
I said
quick
I
now.
will.
Okay, by
I will.
that, which is
I
by
just this meeting will not
8 o'clock.
take more than 40 minutes. As soon as I'm done, I'll come and check on you guys. If you're still here, I'll join.
Okay.
I don't
All right.
have
So
any
the
issue with
second
that.
question.
Question, Madam Soj.
Okay, Abe,
The second question.
Abe, go on with your question.
Thank you very much. So I heard some lies on this panel. The first question is the Association for Better Nigeria, in collaboration with the military junta, they annulled the election in Zerebe and Jimu Bodo, Onfrenwosu, and many likes. That's one. Two, on the Lagos issue, you spoke about the tribalized Lagos. Jaja Nwachukwu, 1952. Charles Onyema, 1958 or 59, made a statement that Lagos is no man's land. And these people particularly came from a particular ethnic group. Yesterday or 2 days ago on June 12, Professor Sam Amadi made the same statement that any individual Igbos can emerge as governor of Lagos. This is a whole professor, Sam Umadi. Obi also recently said your godfather, allegedly, that Nnamdi Kanu has done nothing wrong, and if he's a president, he would release him. Finally, you are in the ruling party, you are in a party called the ADC, which your chairman, David Mark, is the acting national chairman. In Professor Omo Omori's book, who was the founder of Democracy in Nigeria, the 1993 Center for Democracy Studies, in his book on page 153, your national chairman, David Mark, quoted, and he has not challenged Professor Omo Omori, and he's still alive. He's a Benin man, Abi. He's an SA man. He said, and I quote, over my dead body, I'm with the book, I'm reading the book, over my dead body will NEC, that time it was not INEC, it was NEC, pronounce Chief MK Abiola president. I would kill him the day NEC pronounces him elected president. Guess what? David Mark, that made that statement, is the national party chairman of your party you're supporting. Then you also lied on federalism. On federalism, the party which Nnamdi Ezekwe belonged to started tribalism. In fact, matter of fact, when Robert Macaulay died and Zeke took over, the new structure, the new Nigerian document, the NCNC released a document in 1964 called the New Nigeria.
Abe, your question, please, because
yeah. So
no, he has already asked. He has asked.
So let me land with this. So let me land with this. On your tribe and ethnicity, your great grandfather wrote a book, and the name of the book is called Koso Town Boy. And let me read on page 24. It's just one line I want to read. This is Koso Town Boy, your great grandfather's book. My mother's family.
My great grandfather did not write that book.
No. Let me read it for you.
What's the name of the person that wrote the book?
The name of the person that wrote the book is Williams Vivour. So let me on the book.
Then you're lying now. Why do that?
Oh, what do you mean lying?
Should I
post the book? Should I open the camera?
Post the book now.
I'll post the book. I'll send it to Barry. I'll send it to
now.
So GRV, can I suggest? Hang on, Abby. Can I suggest we take a real question? Magnoon, what do you have?
No, please. This man has asked so many things I want to respond to.
Okay, please,
unfortunately,
Abby,
just give me 10 seconds. Let me land now.
No, please,
on the book. Let me tell you the author of the book.
No, Abby.
Okay, tell me
I have a problem with your words.
Let me tell you the author of the book now.
Lie. No, please, please. Abby, this is not a battleground. Can you allow
It's not a battleground. I'm just trying to refer. I've been looking for him. This book has been published 20, 30 years ago.
What is it? Who is the person that wrote
Town
it?
Boy. Let me read it for you.
Who wrote it? Who wrote the book? Who wrote the book first?
God. Hello? I'm telling you, the writer of the book, hold on, let me read it for you very well. William Vivour.
But you're lying.
Hold on now.
No. Now you're lying. You come on here. I don't mind conversation.
The book is here now.
Like that now.
William Robert Vivour, the brother of Robert Wesley Cole.
Moderator,
yes,
please. Google Koso Town Boy writer. Just Google it and let us see what you find.
Okay.
Okay, so Abe, just mute while the moderator do that. Ugo, please take over the stage.
All right.
Okay, so I want to speak to some of the things that he said that I can remember. He said he made a statement, and you lied again. I made a statement that late Pa Adebanjo, before he passed, we had the conversation face to face. He told me that when he started in his early days of activism, he was a Zikist because Zik believed in federalism. And over time, when he heard Awolowo's arguments, he changed and followed Awolowo. That's what this man told me. How that become a lie, and we are talking about who is federalist or who is not, and this conversation about what David Mark said at a point in his life, there was a point in Bola Ahmed Tinubu's life where he said that he does not believe in one Nigeria. Today he's the president of one Nigeria. He's the president of one Nigeria. There's some other things he mentioned, but it seemed like this gentleman came onto this call with just half
Yeah,
truths
GRV,
that
I
just
think our moderators
yeah.
have confirmed who wrote the book, Robert Wesley
Oh,
Cole.
Okay.
So, Abby, you
that is
Yes,
can,
that
yeah.
Robert
William
Wesley
Vivour.
Cole.
So somebody comes on
Yeah.
a call and says that I have a book that
Wesley
was
Cole. You
written
people should be
by
educated. Who is
oh
Wesley Cole?
oh God. Okay, you
Please,
made a statement.
hold on. Abe, hello, sorry, GRV. We have to step in here. Abe, your questions that were coherent would be answered. At this point, we have to step you down. We are not going to go into the argument of who is Wesley Cole, because that was not what is bone of
Matthew,
contention. It was who authored the book. So, sir, can you
I
answer the
say your
questions that you
grandfather
could
wrote it.
pick from?
So like
Can
we
you?
can have.
Yeah.
Oh God, oh God.
Okay, so can we take another question, please, quickly
No, no,
before
I
you
have to.
go?
I
GRV,
really have to go. I really have to go. I will come back to this. Right? I promise I'll come back to this. Again,
so you promised
Yes,
40
let's
minutes.
try and have
40 minutes.
let's try and have honest conversations. Right? If you come up on a call and say that there is a book written by my great grandfather, let it be written by my great grandfather. Right? I'm not a person that points to my ancestors' land with my left hand. You understand? Like, we know the books that have been written on us. So you cannot, if I ask you an author and you lie about it, I know. There'll be nothing that would have caused him to say, oh, Robert
Send the
Walsiko
book
wrote
to
this
the
book.
Boma. Boma, please read it out for him.
Okay. Anyway, I'm going to have to go now, but I'll come
Let
back
me
to you
quickly
guys.
ask you
Yeah?
a real question before you go. You know, you and I have a history, and I wouldn't want it to be as if you don't want me to speak to you.
I said I'm coming back to this call. I'm
Magnum,
literally
you'll
going
be
to a
back.
meeting now.
No,
Magnum,
Magnum, can you calm down, please? Magnum, let him
Magnum,
go.
please,
He
you'll be
has a
back.
meeting.
no,
Thank
he
you
Yeah,
doesn't
very
he'll
have
be
a
much.
back.
meeting. He keeps doing this.
Magnum, please.
Magnum, please,
I
you
was
can't harass our guest. Listen to us.
please
He said
don't
he will
do
be
that.
back. When he comes back,
Also,
he
my
will
own
engage
governorship
you.
candidate now. Why is he running for
No
me? His
problem. You
voter.
will engage your governorship candidate when he's back, Magnum. Please keep it respectful.
I
Please.
think you should let him respect people by staying. If he wants to govern Lagos, he should be able to stay.
Magnon.
Um,
He's already said he's going to come back. Okay, so
You respect Lagosians by
all,
staying.
all you need to
let
do
me.
is wait 40 minutes and he'll be back. All right.
So Magnum
Magnum,
is
you
for
come
you
back
to
up when he's
respect.
done. Yeah.
Oh my God. Please, let's not
Please
harass
check
our
your
guest this
WhatsApp.
time.
Boma, check your WhatsApp. This guy is not
Let's
going to run.
let's not harass our guest like this.
No,
I
we
understand that a lot of people have questions for him. I do understand that, but let's just respect that he's there
What
to
is
be
there to
divided.
respect in somebody who's asking for our vote? And I think this thing is not nice. Nobody has insulted him. Nobody has harassed him. What we are saying is you cannot be running away from Lagosians that want to ask you serious questions. What sort of respect does he need again? We should kneel down and greet him and call him, "Oh, Your Excellency, sir." The question I wanted to ask him was very, very important. And I'm not going to wait, but I'm going to ask the question. And I want you to ask him the question when he comes back.
Okay.
Gbadebo and I had a history on Twitter, as you know, with respect to back and forth banter, court cases, and all of those things. And Gbadebo went on Twitter. This is somebody who wants to govern Lagos State. Went on Twitter, exposed my parents' home address on Twitter, exposed my office address on Twitter, sent boys to my parents' house in Ikorodu. My parents left Ikorodu for 2 weeks. Sent boys to my house in Magodo. My family had to leave the house for 3 weeks because I was not in town. And you are asking us, why do you think he's running away? He saw me, he ran away. He's been sending people to beg me now. So my question to him, hold on. Please, don't be angry. So my question to him is that if he does not have, because he believes, he said something one day that I would know that his family owns the Lagos judiciary. So my question to him would have been, number one, you don't even have the power as a governor of Lagos State, and you have been wielding the supposed power that you think that your family have in the judiciary. If you become the governor of Lagos State, you are going to be somebody who would never listen to dissenting views. You are going to be somebody who does not mind putting people in harm's way. You are going to be somebody who does not mind buying people Because let me tell you, my brothers and sisters here. See,
No,
we are all
I
Lagosians.
have to
We are
stop
all
you.
mates here.
Please, I have to interject you here,
Hold on, my brother.
Emmanuel.
Hold on,
Just
my
for a
brother. Hold
moment.
on, my brother.
For a moment. No,
Hold
no,
on, my
I
brother.
have to. No, wait,
Okay.
I'm moderating the
Are
show
you
and
trying to
not you.
support
So
his
I have to
action,
stop
his
you here.
behavior of exposing
No.
my
I'm stopping
parents?
you here because you are trying to direct the show, and it's not supposed to be that way. So,
So are
first
you
off, you
saying
were
that
supposed to ask a
it
question.
is nice
Hold
for him
on,
to
hold on. Wait,
attack my parents?
your refusal to hold on. Wait, your refusal to hold on is painting another picture. Allow me to moderate. If you would speak, you'll be given the opportunity to speak. Hold on, please. We've allowed you to speak for a long period of time. Now, what I'm saying is, you were supposed to ask a question. And what you've done here is not asking a question. You're making a statement. To an extent, you're even alleging things. You've not asked a question. You said he said he's going to do it with judiciary, and you want to ask him if he's a governor. It means that he's going to do like this. That's not a question. If you want to make a statement of fact or this, you do it on your. No, he did not say, oh, if you become a governor, are you going to abuse power or are you how we sure? But he's saying directly that if you do this as governor, that means when you as a normal citizen, when you
But
become governor, you're going to
you
do
need to
this.
allow him frame his question now. He's
No,
dropping.
no.
I
What
mean,
I'm what
you
Ugo,
need to allow
perhaps
him
you are
frame
one
his
he's
of
made a
those
question.
that he
statement.
sent to my house. Perhaps you're one
No,
of them,
that's
and
why
you don't want to be
that's why
exposed.
Okay,
can you hear
okay,
the fact that you see it at
Magnum,
this
can
point you
you
have to
please
calm
calm
down.
down? This still feels like a personal matter, and you also
Can
mentioned
you
that there's
understand? He
agreement
said
You
between
think
something.
it's
two
not
people.
personal?
It's
You
That the
personal.
can't do
governor of
personal
Lagos
matter
State is
on
going to
our
send boys to
show.
my house?
You can't do personal on this
Okay,
event.
guys,
That's why I'm
too
saying you cannot
personal
direct
here.
it.
You already mentioned that he
This
has
is a
been telling
program.
Hey
people
guys,
to beg you. So
guys,
what are you
Ugo,
saying?
Ugo. Listen,
Yes.
here's what I suggest. I think once again we'll make it clear to people. People are more than welcome to share their views, their political views. Okay, but when it comes to making allegations and it's personal, I think it's only fair
Exactly.
that we allow GRV to return, and then McMahon is more than welcome to ask his question or whatever he's alleging. He can address GRV directly. Until then, we're
That's
going
why he
to
ran away,
pause.
Solomon.
We're going
That's
to
why he
pause
ran
there.
away.
But no, we'll try to make sure you can actually have that conversation. But please respect the moderators and allow them to continue to moderate the space. Thank you. Ugo Madia, go ahead.
All
So
right.
All
I
right.
don't know. Maria, can I say something before you come up?
Please go ahead, Ruth.
Okay. So I really appreciate that, you people are sticking with the surge. I mean, we've come a lot of years now. But Magnum, please, Abe, please.
Please, my name
I
is not
mean,
Magnoon. It's disrespectful when you
we
mispronounce my name. My name is Macnoon.
okay, okay, Magnum,
Don't disrespect
sorry.
me, please.
Okay, thank you. Please, please, we also want you people to be part of what the Surge is doing. But when you come on the Surge, a political platform where we are trying to get honest answers from the leaders and hold leaders or people who are intending to contest accountable for some of the things that they say they would do, please let's not make it personal. If you have a personal issue with him, we know that
Ruth,
we always
Ruth,
have, but please,
Ruth,
please,
Ruth.
Please,
can
My
I
can
name
you
is
please,
allow the
ma'am?
Ruth.
Thank
moderator
you.
speak? Can you
Thank
allow a
you.
moderator speak?
Thank
Ugo,
you.
you are a
Yes,
biased
I'm one
moderator.
of the moderators as well. Please, please, please. We want you here because you people
Okay.
always make the
Yeah.
conversation rich, but don't make
Oh,
it personal.
Mr.
That's all I'm saying.
Ruth,
Magnoon.
Ruth, Ruth,
Mr.
hold
Thank
on.
you.
Hold,
Magnoon. Mr.
madam.
Magnoon, please.
Okay, let me listen to
Mr.
you. Let me
Magnoon.
listen to you. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening again. Please, I understand from everything that you've said
Don't
here.
understand, ma.
I
You
do
don't.
know
I'm
that
telling
this.
you.
I do not understand.
Madam
Let
Madia, I
me
have sent
pretend
my
that I
evidence to
understand.
Baron, Solomon, and Boma. He lied. He knows that book. That was his great grandfather before they changed his name. That book has been online more than 50 years. He
Okay,
lied. And the evidence are with your
Abe, let
host.
me tell you something. I also have
He
a
lied,
see,
D. We've challenged
see.
him so many
You
times.
know what, Abe? You came onto him as if you wanted to attack him. First of all,
But why
your
can't we
first thing.
attack him?
Wait, yes, you
He's our
wait.
governorship
Why
candidate
can't we
now.
attack
I
him?
did say no. You cannot attack people here. You
Nobody
can actually
insulted
ask.
him. We're
Okay, yes.
attacking his views, his
I don't think
behavior,
Abe was
his
attacking
toxic
him.
behavior.
He
It's
was
a
giving
toxic behavior to send
submission.
boys to people's
He was
house.
giving
No.
submission. He was trying to establish a
Abiodun, wait,
premise
oh,
to
wait.
ask his question.
Wait. Abiodun, when somebody comes to you, you were making a statement.
it's different when I say that, oh, I need to correct a perception or I need to correct a view. It's different from when you said you lied. He said lied like 4 times before
But
he even got
he
to the
just said
point.
he said
I
he
can
said
create
he
a
said he has sent
narration
some.
and then
He
ask a
said he
question
has
based on
sent
the narration.
the author of the book to Boma and to a number of people here,
No.
and they've
That's not the
confirmed
part.
that the book is written.
That is not the
Okay.
part where he said, see, when Abe started, he said, there's a lie here I need to correct. If somebody comes up to me and I was making a statement, or maybe I just gave a speech, and somebody comes up on stage and say, you lied here. You said it 4 times, even before you got to
Nadia,
the
didn't
If you
ABN
want to
annul
be
the
a
June
governor of
12th?
Lagos State, you will listen to us. We will tell you that you lied.
No,
Otherwise, he doesn't want to be governor of
Okay,
Lagos.
guys.
my own question,
Hang on.
Okay, okay,
Abiodun, one
hello.
second.
Is he the
Can
only one that wants to
Abiodun, one
become
please
second.
governor of
can
1
Lagos
second.
State? Magnoon, Abba.
Guys, 1 second. Let me just remind everyone again.
He's the one
See,
that we want to
when
attack this night. Haba.
Maknoon, hold on, please. You see, when Madia and Ugo are speaking, okay, there should be no interjections for those 2 people. Okay, if there are any further interjections on those 2 people, you will be moved down. We want to have a dynamic conversation, but please respect the moderators. It's their space. We have a topic that we're discussing. We want to hear from Bonka. We want to hear from Macnoon, but please respect the moderators. Okay, GRV will come back. Macnoon, I will personally ensure you get your opportunity. So please just
I won't wait
respect
for
the
him.
platform.
I've told you what
Okay.
I want to
Well,
ask him. Ask him if
that's
you
up
are a sincere
that's up to
Lagosian.
you. That's up to
You are a
you.
sincere Lagosian. He's a
please
criminal. He's a thug.
Oh
That guy
my
cannot
God.
govern Lagos
Solomon,
State.
Solomon,
Mr.
thank you.
McNoon.
And that's what I wanted to say
Mr.
to his face. He's a
McNoon.
thug. He's a criminal.
Yeah, please
Mr.
move him down.
McNoon. Please, can
Thank
you?
you.
Oh, God. Language, please.
Okay, thank you, Solomon. Madia, thank you. For everyone that have stayed through, thanks for sticking with us. The rules here is very simple. We want diverse opinions. We want diverse opinions. We want the audience to ask questions that we probably were not able to ask. And we feel that everybody is entitled to question anybody we bring on this space, no matter how difficult the question is. However, the line we draw is that it should be respectful. It shouldn't seem as though we brought someone to this space for them to be disrespected or set up. Else, we won't be able to get some of these guests honor our invitation. So we appreciate everybody here, both the conversations. And the conversation is still has democracy delivers for Nigeria, and our guest has promised to return. We'll make sure we get him here within the next 20 minutes, 30 minutes max. But we can still give our opinions, those that were not able to say a thing or two while the conversation were ongoing. You can come up now and talk, but please, like we said, let it be respectful. Respectful does not mean that you cannot say what your mind or what you want to say. Nobody is higher than being being questioned, so you can ask your questions now. And where we interject as moderators, please do us the honor to listen, because that's the only way we can have a conversation without people interjecting. Thank you. So who's going next? Bonka.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, old friends. And should I?
Bonka, hey, Bonka, welcome. Oh, I've missed you.
Oh, I missed you guys too. It's a pleasure to be around you people again. Yeah, and I felt really bad that I didn't get to engage Vivour Chinedu Rhodes, and it's so. I don't think the man will ever learn with the way he implicates himself, and like I don't know, like I'm gonna wait until he's back, and then I'm gonna, especially what he said about Awo and Zeke being a federalist. That was interesting. That I really, because you can't. You can't. Well, when he's back, I want to address that. Why he considers Zeke a federalist.
Bonka, whilst we're waiting for him, why don't you tell us what you think about the fact his position did change on saying that the indigents should be accommodated and their desires should be met?
So that's political
that
statement.
was a change of
The guy
position
said
from last time.
something. The guy said something. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't. What? The rule is don't interrupt, right?
Yeah,
No, it's fine. It's fine.
yeah,
That was a change
yeah.
of position from last time. So I just wanted to know what you think. Like, do you
Okay,
think
you people are not
genuine
listening to
or
the. You people didn't listen to the fine print of what he's saying. He said yes, that position is there, but people wait. Let me talk now. Who is coming in?
Please,
So
Bonka, go ahead.
yes.
Mute yourself.
Now he said that, but you didn't listen to the fine print where he said people who have been there and have contributed there economically have a right to the politics of the state. That's reckless and dangerous thinking. That's not conservatism. And the fact that you have contributed economically to a place does not mean you have political rights to dominate or rule in that place. It doesn't mean you are a true representative of the people. You see what that man in Isolo is doing currently. He has contributed. He has done all that. But does that make him a good representative? The historically, the Fulani people contributed a lot to the north before the Usman Danfodio jihad. They were the guys, they were the traders, they were the interconnected all across West Africa. It didn't stop them from taking over their land and turning them to the second class citizens they are today. The British came as businessmen. Before they took over Nigeria, they were businessmen on this soil. They were the ones dominating the palm oil trade, which was the biggest trade then. So how do you claim that you want to be a true representative of a place, but you're still arguing that people who have contributed economically because of their contribution and the tax they pay, you're still speaking the same thing that the Zikist and those guys in those olden days were talking about. That is reckless thinking, and that's why I'm saying this man.
Bonka he used the word indigenous. I think it's important to clarify that.
Okay, I think I know what you're doing, Solomon, but you
No.
didn't hear
I'm
him.
just I
Yeah.
just wanted I want you to share what you think, because clearly last time, and I'm actually on your side. Last time I thought his approach was completely wrong for someone that's looking to govern Lagos, right? But the rhetoric has changed, certainly from what I was hearing today. But it seems like for you, it's I guess you're saying it's political, so you don't believe it.
No, he's saying he's indigenous, but he's still saying that anybody who is in that state that has contributed to his economy have a right to to politics of that state. That's what he said. Oh, you didn't hear him say that? But So
No,
so
but like Solomon
whatever
is
he said
insisting.
has
State.
balanced it up. So that's what I'm saying is
The politics
politics.
of that state could be the politics of that state could be participating in politics, not really leading, could be coming out to vote and support a candidate and all. So it's not as definite as last time that we could hold him to it. But your contributions are, well, okay. You wanted to add something?
Engage. One more thing I want to say. Yeah.
Like Solomon is also trying to point out. He also said that he has grown. So, in your own, do you think he has grown on some level? Like, his views. Solomon also pointed out that his views have changed on a lot of things. So, do you think, or because I'm beginning to think that you because I mean, like the guy has really changed his view on a lot of things. So, are you going to, at some point, like give him some credit on some level and say that, okay, here and here, I think, he has made progress, but I still think that he still has a lot of work to do here and here. That's just what I'm thinking.
Yes, there's a lot of improvement. Now he's not reckless with his choice of words anymore, which is an improvement. But one thing has not changed, and the thing that has not changed that you notice is that he belongs to an obedient camp that believes in the mob approach. One, two. Let me look for a nice way to say this. Okay. um. They still believe that their qualification for leadership is hate. Everything you hear him saying, and people as I say, is that they believe that hate on APC and hate on Tinubu is what should kind of brand them. And that's dangerous for politics. This man has done, like, since we come, his government is actually taking us back to what was happening before independence that the founding fathers negotiated for. This man is currently, as we speak, this man is working on state police. This man did tax reforms.
This man did
Okay.
regionalism.
Bonka, this is more like a campaign for Tinubu.
Tinubu is
That's what
working on state
he's actually
police.
talking about Tinubu. Now, Bonka, are you from Lagos? Are you a Lagosian? Okay, you
Good
are Yoruba.
question.
I am Yoruba, yes.
Okay.
And we don't tag ourselves based on that. States were created by military and British. So my identity is not about a state. My identity is about my ethnicity.
Okay. So
So
Bonka, when you
So
invariably,
started,
meaning
you
to
every
say
actually
that you don't even have a right to speak for Lagos State like you are speaking, because if you are not from Lagos State, then I wonder. I'm just playing. I'm just playing with. No. I'm just playing with you. I'm just playing with. No, you do. No, I'm just playing with you. I know. I'm just playing with you. I'm just pulling your legs. Don't mind
But
me.
Vivour is saying that Igbos have a right to speak in Lagos, but I don't have a right. That I'm
no,
Yoruba.
he,
But
he
people
didn't
that came
mention
there
Igbos.
and have
he
He
economic
didn't
didn't
rights. So are
mention
you
mention.
saying you're contradicting
Bonka.
yourselves?
Bonka, now you've given us a different insight. He didn't mention Igbos. He said residents, and then you were asked if you're and then you were asked if you were a Lagosian, and you said no, you're Yoruba. Meaning that let me
No, I was actually building on
the
something.
indigens.
Bonka, I asked that
We're
question
talking
because
about
I
indigens
wanted
of
to ask you
Lagos.
something.
Okay, you can go
I
ahead,
am
Madia.
not an indigene of Lagos,
Okay, but
Madia,
you're
but
finish
based in
your
Lagos.
I belong to the Yoruba ethnic group of which Lagos is a part of.
And you reside in you stay in Lagos, right? You
I don't even
participate.
stay in Nigeria, but yes, my base is Lagos.
Okay, so when he was having the discussion earlier, he talked about ethnicity and how he's not even going to give room for all of that to influence his political career going forward. Now he also mentioned something about we need to stand against Tinubu. I want to understand what is the problem with this candidate. And also, when you started, you mentioned his name. You had to bring out the Chinedu in the name, which of course a lot of us do not know. Which I was no. This is me just saying that you were trying to send a subtle message, and we got it. So now, what is the problem with the so-called Lagosians? Because now I am classifying you under Lagosians because, of course, you have investment in Lagos, and of course, Lagos politics rubs up on you one way or the other. What is the problem with GRV and Lagos people?
His politics should not be about hate on Tinubu or hate on APC. Those guys they're actually contributing their best quota as well, and they deserve some credit in a lot of things. So you cannot. So that's what you call that's manipulation and propaganda, where is a messianic way of approach, where you say, "Look, I'm coming to save you from somebody else." And we don't like that messianic kind of rhetoric when it comes to politics. You like now. One of the things I wanted to engage him is that is he saying that Tinubu saying I want to do state police? Tinubu working on regionalism, Tinubu working on tax reforms, Tinubu eradicating Aboki exchange is not a good thing. So why is that constant hate about him, regardless of has he not done anything good? Is there not anything about him that is actually worth some respect to? So you cannot continue to peddle that hate towards that man and feel like that's your major legitimacy. That's what I'm saying.
Oga now position in
All
the
right,
now.
all right,
Now
all
position
right.
in the.
All right, Bonka. I get your point now. Which is exactly what Madia was trying to extract. However, let's also note that the role of opposition has always been to point out the failings of the government in power. If what you think he is doing, which he didn't portray here, probably in his actions that might have not been exhibited here, is riding on hate on the government in power, we can also attest to the fact that in 2015, the APC ruled on selling hate on the government in power. At some point, they said it was anything other than Jonathan, and that was how they came into power. So you cannot say, expect him to be the one to praise sing the government in power. So I think we should understand that is politics at play. He's going to whip up the sentiment against that administration. Yes, you've highlighted some areas of positive impacts, in quotes, supposedly positive impact of this administration. But as we speak, there's still people out there calling on the rescue of, the children that were kidnapped.
Their impacts, right?
No, not. I'm not. I'm not. You made mention of some of them, so it has not been up for argument. I'm not disputing you, and I'm not acknowledging. So it's just to remain neutral as possible. I'm making consciously using my words carefully. So, however, there is areas of failing, areas of insecurity, areas of inflation, and all these things are capable enough for a people to say a government has failed. So it is proper for opposition elements to be with this up. But that said, you've given a good contribution here, and I'd like to hear from other persons. I think Abiodun was indicating. Oh yeah, definitely, most definitely.
And
Yeah,
that's why I'm even still
Abiodun.
here. That's why I'm even still here. So, my problem was when he said democracy has failed in Nigeria. That's a huge statement coming from someone that is also contesting under the platform of democracy. Well, we can agree that okay, well, maybe our leaders they failed us in terms of economic prosperity, accountable governance, security, but that's just people. Do you get? That's just people. It's every country of the world today, their citizen always has something to complain about. And yes, Nigeria, yeah, is currently in a complex situation now in terms of security. But that does not mean democracy has failed. I can tweet today that Tinubu is a very stupid man and nobody will come and pick me up. Do you get? So I wanted to ask him, like, what alternative do we have to democracy? And should he win his election in Lagos now, how will he create that alternative? I mean, what is his alternative? So should he give that alternative? How will he, bring that alternative approach to democracy? Because he's contesting on the platform of democracy now, telling people to vote for him, rather than someone coming up and say, okay, we are selecting you, So for him to come out and say, democracy has failed, that shouldn't be coming from a politician. That shouldn't be coming from a politician. I mean, I believe he has revived, hope in, in young people. Someone like me that also has a political ambition. Now, telling me democracy has failed now, sort of weaken my hope. And we are celebrating Democracy Day. Do you get? We are celebrating the birth of democracy, uninterrupted democracy for 25 years, if I'm not mistaken. Do you get? So, if given instances of our security challenge and economic woes, is the reason why democracy has failed, then he has failed too. He has failed. So that is my own.
Custodian of democracy or what?
But he's contesting under democracy. So why is he saying democracy has failed? If democracy has failed, he shouldn't contest.
Oh,
But that's his opinion.
oh, okay, Abiodun, let me
But
clarify.
what is the
I was waiting
alternative?
for
What
you
is
to
the
land
what
so
is
I can
what is the
clarify.
what is the
No,
alternative to democracy?
these questions you're asking are very insightful, and I think I asked similar questions. I don't know if you were here from the beginning, but
I
I wanted
was.
to account for some of his response. Okay, so first off, I believe what he had said was that the result of democracy, more like the dividends of democracy, has not materialized. Because I remember I asked him, if you're saying democracy has failed, what are the alternatives? And then he kicked against um, issue of thinking towards alternative form of government like military and all, because he said if you do that part, it's going to lead to chaos and violence and all.
Right.
However, he pointed out that we should look towards modeling a system that is unique to us, because there are other democracies that have a system unique to them and all. So this is to clarify that he didn't say more like he's against this form of government, because he actually kicked against seeking for alternatives like that would lead to violence, agitation, and all. So I was there and I just sort of
No, not
wanted to give this
necessarily,
clarification.
not necessarily violence, but the way he framed it was democracy has failed in Nigeria. Democracy has failed. This is a platform where someone lost when GEJ lost election, you know, he handed over to another person. Maybe so many people were not born here. I was not. I mean, I was just a baby at the time when Abiola lost election. I mean, when Abiola won his election, and it was annulled by Babangida. I was just a baby then, but I saw a lot of people died because of that. Do you get? I saw military handing over to themselves. Do you get? So for you to come out and say, okay, people that died for him to get this platform that he's contesting, what do you want to say to those people? What do you want to say to those people that died to fight for democracy? People that that were imprisoned, for the purpose of this democracy he's contesting on. So we need to ask him the real alternative that he's proposing. Okay, if he's not proposing military junta now, what else is he proposing?
All right. I think it would be an interesting question to ask him. So he has an opportunity to either give clarification or give profile alternative or solutions. So we have some other people on the stage that would want to make some contributions. Our Jago also. So, and one other, Gajo, yeah. Gajo, are you there?
Let's take Gajo and then Awa.
Okay, so I think the reason why I wanted to come up earlier was when Abe lied, and we all know he lied actually, and that's how Abe contributes to conversations. If you've known him for a while, he would assume things that are wrong, and if you don't verify, just like GRV verified now, you will think actually that existed. Like for example, he said GRV's grandfather, he said his great grandfather wrote a book, and he went ahead to quote a line in there, and the book was not written by GRV's grandfather. So if you are listening, it's like should I say, a way you control the mob. You would assume that actually his grandfather wrote that book and he said so, and that's how they've been able to demonize GRV's character in the Southwest. As for Bonka, if you know Bonka, you know that Bonka is a die-hard Yoruba nationalist who thinks that Tinubu himself is too moderate and that Tinubu is a sellout to the Yoruba race, and he hates people like GRV more. Yes, I'm speaking for you because I know that's what you are. Everyone knows who you are, and that's what you've not changed. In fact, you've gotten worse. You assume that because you own a house in Lagos, you are more Lagos than people like GRV whose great grandfathers are from here. You cannot claim that you are a Lagosian you are indigenous to Lagos. You may be indigenous to the Yoruba land, maybe Oshun, Ogun, and the likes, but you are not indigenous to Lagos. And you've been abroad for all we know, and all the time you insert yourself into Nigeria's conversation, you act like you love the country more than us that are actually here trying to solve the problems. So sometimes when I listen to you and you've not changed, you have managed to demonize this GRV character to an extent that people see him as an Igbo man than a Yoruba man than he is, and you are not more Yoruba than he is. He has his family, he could trace his ancestry back maybe to 10 generations before him. I doubt if you can trace yours to 5 generations, even in the Ogun or Oshun, wherever you are from. So sometimes when people make contributions to conversations that affect him, it makes me very angry when I listen to you. you hate progressives of the Yoruba race. You just want people to be like you. Hate every other tribe. Think Yoruba first, and them all consequences.
Mischaracterized on this stage.
You have
Do you want us to
mischaracterized
burn down
GRV
the
more than I've
house?
mischaracterized you. You
Bunker, allow
get
him
I'm
to
you
being
get
finish.
you have an
mischaracterized on this
opportunity.
stage, and
You
the
will
moderators are
Bunker,
quiet. Will it be
you will
nice for
have
me
an
to
hold
respond?
on,
opportunity.
Gajo, hold on.
Yes.
Bunker, hold on, Gajo, hold on. Let me just say something. The reason why, Bunker, allow me, please, allow me. The reason why I have allowed Gajo to continue is because you're on stage here and you'll be given a right to. But if you were absent here, we wouldn't have allowed him. So you're here, he's not doing it behind you. So you definitely have your time. So please allow him. Thank you. So Gajo, if you're done, then you yield the mic.
And Bonka, you need to grow up. Like you need to really grow up. Sometimes, even them
Gajo, please,
let him
just a
respond to
moment,
me now.
Gajo,
He's
please.
going to
You are
respond.
taking it
No,
personal now.
No,
We won't
Gajo,
allow that.
Gajo, now you're taking it personal.
you need to give Bonka an opportunity to talk to GRV. Then you see how personal it will
Gajo,
get.
no, Gajo, hold on,
Ugo,
no.
Ugo.
If hold on, you continue, hold on. If we give Bonka such opportunity and he goes personal, and I can't call you up why you're going personal against Bonka, then I wouldn't have any moral justification to call Bonka when he goes against GRV. So please, Gajo, if you're making your statement, don't make it personal.
But
Yes.
there's nothing personal. Like we've been through this like 100 times before, so I think there's nothing new. But all the same, I think that for people that have, chosen to stay in foreign countries and live all their lives there, and then come to we that are in Nigeria that had opportunity to leave the country but refused to, and decide to be part of the solution, we earn some, sense of like respect from those who decide to just opt out and leave. And when you try to, like make contributions to the growth of Nigeria, you have to take into consideration the fact that you are not part of the solution, and you choose not to
All
be.
right.
Like it's a choice you conscientiously decide to make, not to be part of the solution. So sometimes when people like
All right.
GRV sacrifice their career, their name, their background, and whatever to be part of the solution, that respect should be there, please.
Gajo, thank
Thank
you
you.
very much. We appreciate
All
you.
right.
Bonka, go ahead.
And I don't
Bonka,
want to be
briefly. Yeah.
muted when I respond to Gajo. He was allowed to vent very well, and I would like to respond.
Yes.
Please, yeah.
Yeah, but if you go out offline, we're going to call you to order. So, but continue. Just like I called him to order. Yeah. So,
What you see Gajo do now is what his ancestors do. It's called Mesujamba. Mesujamba. Let me describe Mesujamba in Rome. Divide et impera. Let me say it in English. Divide and conquer. All of a sudden, oh my, yeah, Oshoju Osholo. Now, if I'm abroad, I don't want to brag about my background or who my fathers were, or what comfort life my father made for us before your people, your own fathers destroyed that country, made us run to Kutonu, and then from there escape to where I am now. Of what your own people did. The reason why I'm not in Nigeria is because your brothers are terrorizing us in the bush. I have a farm in Nigeria. The last time I was in Nigeria, right, they were telling everybody, my whole family here was insisting that I have to be on the Google map so that they can know where I am at every time because your cousins are kidnapping people. And now you want to come here and say all this BS. That's what you call adding insult to injury.
Bon-
Okay,
That
Bonka,
is what.
Bonka,
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 Please now, you guys. I
Bonka,
don't.
please.
Oh my God.
Bonka, you've crossed
Bonka,
the line.
you crossed the
I
line. His
told you that
cousin,
if you cross the
his
line,
family.
I'm going to call you to add. Yeah, you're
You
making
can talk about my
allegations.
own
See,
grandfather, my
yeah.
generation. All of a sudden, Abby.
That's why when hold on, that's why when you mentioned about his ancestors, I didn't call you to order because he actually spoke about your, but now saying his cousins are kidnappers, it's where you cross the line. Please, you can withdraw that and continue.
So let's not attack each other. We're here to talk about democracy, what we can do better. This is
Can I talk, please?
Please,
our
yes.
You see
Somebody
what
else is breath of fresh air.
the design people have for
Okay, so
Lagos.
Madia.
The design people have for Lagos, which many don't understand, is that how can an Igbo person or a Fulani person be questioning my rights? If you do a DNA now of what Lagosian is a scam, but if you do a DNA of an indigenous person of Lagos and you do my DNA, it's going to say it's the same. But in your own place, you are having your when they were doing IPOP, when you do your Arewa and everything together, nobody is saying. In fact, you are saying Gado is a Fulani man. Gado is evil. Gado will argue with you that the Fulani man in Niger, the Fulani man in Guinea is his brother. The president Buhari, the president of Nigeria, then he said that he has the people of Niger also his people. He was arguing about Britain building boundaries and saying that no, it doesn't change the fact that him and the Fulani man in Guinea, they are one, they are brothers. But you want to question my own right to be a Yoruba and speak for another fellow Yoruba that is a Lagosian. That is what you call Mesujamba. That is the concept. You are in a place now where the argument is that your identity must be Muslims and you must all be one. Right? There's no cado, so you follow your prophets, which, and I'm not saying that in a derogatory way, but they're coming and questioning my right to be a Yoruba person in Yoruba land, in a Lagos where almost all the what developed Lagos was cocoa money. The state that I am, if you look at all the industrial estates and everything that you see in Ikeja and everything, that was Awolowo. What did he use to do it? That was cocoa money. The cocoa, like 80% of cocoa comes from the state that I come from. And I'm not saying I'm not fighting because I want a part of Lagos. I'm not fighting because I want a part of the politics of Lagos. I'm fighting because you can't divide Lagos and say the plan that people like GRV and all of them have is that separate your other Yoruba people from Lagosians so that they can become minority, and then use that backbone of your Igbo friends and all the other foreigners to now muscle them in, which was what was done when the British was around. I don't want to go into the details of the stories of Saros, who he is. They've always been saboteurs. They played a big role in how Yoruba land fell. They played a big role in Kiriji War. They played a big role in how Zik came to terrorize Yoruba land politically. And that's why he's still coming here and branding Zik and mischaracterizing it. Which Zik is a federalist? Let's break down his history. When he's back here, I'm going to break down
Wonka.
who Zik was. So, I mean,
Yes, please,
you're
but
coming here just
we
doing all
give
this.
you what we gave you was the right of reply, and I think you've done justice to that. So, Awa, please, let's hear what you have to say.
Thank you very much. I want to sincerely thank the. Okay.
Awa, go ahead.
Awa is the one who is speaking, please.
So I want to thank the owners of this platform. I really appreciate you. Actually, I'm a Nigerian like every one of us, a Yoruba race. And we all know Lagos is predominantly or majorly dominated by Yorubas. So we should have a voice whenever anything that concerns Lagos comes up. So whoever that wants to govern Lagos, especially at this point in time, must be somebody that will see things in a different dimension, that will add value, and needs to be strategic, because the people that you want to face, they are really entrenched in the system already. So coming up with idea of talking in a public gathering and be talking against them will not help you. So if I may advise Oga Gbadebo, if sincerely is ready and want to make a change, he needs to concentrate on his agenda for Lagos. What is he going to do differently from what is on ground? What are his manifestos? What are the welfare packages he's trying to bring on board in terms of health, in terms of improvement on education, and making life more better than what it is? All these ghettos in Lagos, all these areas where you cannot walk easily in Lagos, what is he going to do differently? So those are the things I expect him to be selling to the public. Saying something about a personality of Asiwaju, there are so many people that have benefited from these people. I say people in terms of the APC and the people that are concerned in Lagos and beyond. You can't come to the public and be talking against them and expect you to scot free. You expect people not to challenge you. You expect people not to abuse you. People will go aggressive against you when you are doing this. I personally, there are many things I can't say in the public here because I know how far we have gone before someone like me left home for abroad. So I just want to advise, if some of us are very close to him and we really know that we love him and we want him to be successful in what he is aspiring for, this game is not a game of accusation, it's not a game of bullying people, it's not a game of abusing people. Come up with agenda that is different. Okay, this thing is in existence in Lagos. I am coming up to modify it in such a way that people will benefit, the old people will benefit, the young people will benefit. This is the level of poverty in Lagos. This is what I'm coming up to do. I think those are the things he needs to, because the moment you continue to attack all these personalities, you are creating more enemies for yourself. So I will have loved him to be here to listen to all these things that I'm stating.
All right.
But I know he has his own people here. Whenever he comes back or whenever they have him, they can deliver the message to me. And if need be, we can have some discussion beyond this, beyond this show. So I want to drop my curtain. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity.
All right.
Thank you. God bless.
All right, quick one. Thank you for your input. Just for clarifications, so our guest stated clearly while he was here that Lagos is a Yoruba state, belongs to the Yorubas. He made that statement, and also he was careful not to do any name calling or insult on any of the leaders. So I'm just clarifying, so you don't build your narrative based on what some persons have said here. Probably some of them are making reference to his communications outside here, but so that we don't judge him beyond what he didn't say here. And secondly, we're being notified that he will be joining us soon. And if he eventually honors us to come back and join this conversation, I would want to plead that those that will be engaging him keep it civil. And number three,
side, but I'd like to say, okay,
He comes.
okay, go, please.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ugo. And I love our people who are speaking. I love Bonka especially because Bonka seems to be very well read and he seems to have an idea on a lot of issues. But the same way, I am just of the opinion, and this is my opinion, Bonka, and the other guy who spoke as well. The same way all of you have your truth and especially what you think Lagos was, because history is not necessarily like a correct account. It is some people's, what some people think happened. And everybody has a right to what they think, happened at a certain time. And to deny GRV of, that, I think that is disingenuous. And I also feel like at some point, some of you have like a biased mindset towards him. I don't know if it's the fact that he's mixed blood. We all know that the world over, if your father is from a certain place, even white people, they even do it terribly that if you have a black mother, they call you black, whether your father is white or not. But we know that a child's heritage is known by the father. The fact that JRV's father is Yoruba alone, I don't think that his ethnicity should be a thing of conversation at all. I don't think that we should, when we're talking politics, that should even be like a conversation that we should be bringing up because we know his heritage. We know his ancestors. We know where they come from. So to keep bringing that up, I think is another disingenuous thing. And then to also keep saying that, I don't know why you always have to place him against Tinubu. This is a politician. When he's being interviewed, they will ask him about Tinubu. It's not that they would always pitch him against Tinubu. And I don't know what exactly you people want him to say. For him, he has said that on some level, he does not agree with some of Tinubu's policies. Are politicians not allowed to do that? He's allowed to say that, yes, on some policies he does not, and which is what he tried to do here today. I don't think there was any time that he went at Tinubu. There were some policies that he called out and said this and this and this. If this was better, this would have been better. But me personally, I've not been on any space where he attacked Tinubu as a person. So I think that to keep coming from certain angles and saying that he's fighting Tinubu, he's the man has been trying as much as possible to tell us exactly what he's going to do better. And he has told us, and some of you have even agreed that he has grown. Can we now be objective and ask him questions as to, okay, before now, when you contested in 2023, these were some of the things that you said you would do. We thought they were a bit childish, but now that you said you have grown, in this area, what are you going to do? Given that Lagos is even a complex city, Lagos is like the most complex city in Nigeria, with all its complexities and everything. In this area, the last hour was trying to talk about, the ghettos. What are you going to do, especially coming from the architectural, but you're an architect? What are you going to do in this area? We have had issues with the issue of Agberos. What policy would you bring up that, would actually bring these arbours under one umbrella and make them useful to the society? Because, we can actually find use for them. I think that these are some of the things that we should be talking about. But to keep saying things like, oh, his people were this, his people fought this. He was not there. Okay, it was his ancestors. He was not there. He does not know what his ancestors did. Can we focus on what GRV will bring to Lagos and how he can even make progress in Lagos if he is voted? Please. We are young people. We are trying to bring up a new crop of politicians for Nigeria. But to keep behaving like, the old politicians that go for people's character and people's personal lives as against, talking to them professionally and politically, I think that is disingenuous. It is not fair. You're not being fair to him. You're also not being fair to us who have put up this platform to ensure that, we get the best out of Nigeria. And then to come and keep talking about people's personalities and all, I don't think that's fair. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Please. My name was
No,
called.
Bunker, you cannot.
Let me respond now.
Thank you, Ruth. Thank you, Ruth.
You can't. No, she told her she didn't say anything personally against you guys. No, it wasn't. There was nothing.
No. She said you are well read and all that.
She
She
did
didn't say anything like that.
She didn't say anything against you personally. So please, she
Yes.
gave her opinion, just like you guys gave your opinion.
So maybe we can just take a few more and then we can come back to Bonka.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think we'll have to move some people down so we can bring some new participants up. So Sizwe Bansi, if you're there, you can just basically ask to come up. Thank you,
Sure.
Awa. Thank you,
No problem. Thank
thank
you.
you.
Okay, Solomon, he's here. Our guest is here, so let's bring him up.
Okay, perfect. All right.
We're just making sure that he comes up.
I can't. It's not allowing me to.
I just did. I
Ugo,
sent him an invite.
Ugo.
Okay,
Okay,
he's
fine.
here.
Yeah, he's on stage.
Okay.
He's on stage now. Good.
Yeah.
Good evening. I'm back.
Good
Yes.
evening.
Thank you very
Thank you
much
so much.
for honoring our invitation again.
Uh, so Madia, you can go ahead.
All right. Thank you very much.
We go. So GRV, we were able to clarify and confirm your assertion that Abbey was lying. So that book he made reference to, essentially it was conjecture.
Okay.
It was
Wesley
conjecture.
Cole
So
is his.
Madia
I
and
have sent the
Ugo,
book. You can read
please
it out.
go ahead.
Solomon, you have the document.
Okay. So let's not talk about the book. Let's talk about meaningful conversation. Let's not let a book just come in between these very fruitful conversations we've had so far. So can we drop the book? Let's not talk about the book, please.
Yes, let's go ahead.
Anybody who is interested in reading the book can just go read the book.
No. Okay,
GRV,
Madia, let me just okay.
GRV, thank you so
Continue
much
then.
for showing up again. We really appreciate that you kept your words and you're back here.
Thank you. Thank you.
So we would like to bring some persons in the audience to ask a few questions. If you're okay, we can start immediately.
Yeah, I'm fine. Go ahead.
Okay, so I would start with Bonka. Bonka is already here. Bonka, please, I would need to say this to everyone who is on this live. Please go straight to your question so we can take a lot of questions. Let's make judicious use of the time that we've got left and have more people interact with our guests this evening. So Bonka, if you're ready, let's have your question in 30 seconds, please.
I wanted to read something out. And so, would you be able to give me like 2 minutes instead of 30 seconds, please?
2 minutes. I would give you a minute 30 seconds, and I'm that generous.
Hey, oh,
A
girl,
minute 30 seconds.
Ijoba illegal. But
Thank you
okay.
very much. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
All right. So, one of the things that really puzzled me was when there's a feedback I'm getting. I don't know. Yeah, was when hello. Okay, one of the things was when GRV said that Zeke was a federalist. I wanted more clarification on that because that's not what we knew of his history. And if we read about Awo's biography, Awo himself clarified this. And I'm reading one of the pages from Awo's book, page 182 of Awo autobiography, and it says, when the Action Group proclaimed its slogan of unity through federalism, through federation in 1951, and declared support in principle for the new constitution, popularly known as McPherson Constitution, Dr. Azikiwe and his lieutenants made venomous attacks on my colleagues and me. Dr. Azikiwe and NCNC took the view that the country should have a unitary constitution and one strong government at the center. So then the McPherson Constitution was in 1954. So that is when Gbadebo came and said, "Oh, he's a federalist." That confused me a bit. Also,
Okay.
being a regionalist does not necessarily mean one is not a federalist. So these are things that just needed to be clarified. But
Okay. Bonka,
now
Bonka, you're 1
wait,
minute
let me
30
finish
seconds.
now.
You are finished now. You promised me 1
Oh
minute 30
God.
seconds. Thank you. GRV,
Can I say something to
please,
that?
please go just respond to that question,
Okay,
please.
I think again I was paraphrasing a conversation that happened about a year, up 3 years ago. I cannot tell you the exact words that were used, but let me simplify it because what he's described is probably right. And like he said, if you can be a federalist and also be something else, two truths can exist. All I'm just trying to communicate was that Pa Adebanjo started off believing in the vision of Nnamdi Azikiwe, and over time he switched to the vision and the ideology of Awolowo. That is all. The main point I'm trying to communicate here is that there was a time where ideas mattered. There was a time where the vision, the big idea mattered, which was why people could stick with an ideology for a long time. That someone can be defined or described as an Aoist or a Zikist, right? And that is what is lacking in our politics. That's the main message I was trying to communicate. I'm not trying to, yeah, I think that's it. So that's all. Thank you.
That's my question, and the host will not let me ask. I just wanted to clarify that first. Please, can you give me a minute to really ask my question? It's very important. Please, guys. Please,
Bonka, I did
please,
tell you that
please.
you need to go straight to your question. I said that at the beginning. Go straight to your question, please.
This is more concerning. And Gbadebo, your godfather or your mentor or the person you look up to as your political father is an Igbo man. And we do not see Peter Obi as someone who represents Yoruba interests. Yes, he might be competent and all those might be in quotes in all those words, but when it comes to local politics, we don't see him as a proper representation. And we've seen a similar experience in the Zikist movement when Zik wanted to be a godfather of politics in Yoruba land, and how it played out. Why do you think people should endorse you in local politics when your godfather is not a local man? That's my real question. I
All
wanted to
right, thank
phrase it
you.
well, but I wasn't allowed
All
to
right.
really kind of break it down.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right.
For your question. Um, um, well, this concept of Godfather. When I got into PDP, they said Chief Body George is my godfather. I've had people say Chief Obafemi, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo is my godfather. A presidential candidate of the party I was in, Labour Party, my godfather. Currently, I'm in the ADC. I'm not in the NDC, so I'm sure they will soon give me another godfather. Um, for me, I focused on building a proper coalition in Lagos State. That's why I stayed in the ADC. A coalition made up of leaders from all tribes. You have Yorubas, you have South South, you have Igbos, you have everybody, a pan-Nigerian party. And our focus is building on relationships that we currently have across all tribes, across all ethnicities, domiciled locally in Lagos State, you know? And I think that we need to come to a politics where people are judged for their vision and their ideas for the people, right? Because the more we keep talking, I mean, I think that's where I'm going to leave it. In politics, 2027, my focus is to appeal to people with my vision, my ideas. I do hope that the APC and the opposition will be able to come with superior ideas, a superior vision, and let's have conversations that will genuinely affect the masses, not conversation about what David Mark said in a certain year and is now the chairman of a party. And that is somehow going to change the level of insecurity that we have in our country, or the amount of fuel, cost of kerosene. So that's my answer to that question.
Yeah. So
The IPOB insecurity in the
Ab,
southeast.
Ab,
Can I?
I was going to ask
Abe.
a question too, Ugo. When can I go?
Okay, you can go now quickly. Then Abiodun go next.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, GRV. Thank you especially for coming back. So my question to you is, I think that after you contested for the governorship of Lagos State, you encountered something that me personally, just, trying to just scrap at politics, I have never seen, I don't know if it's hate. I don't know if it's divisiveness. I don't know what exactly happened in 2023, but we are at a place in Nigeria where it is almost like impossible to even like say that I am from a certain area in Nigeria or I speak a particular language, because the moment you do that at any place, people just profile you and begin to you start getting all sorts of attacks. But for you as a politician, I know that you went under a lot of scrutiny, your family, your generation, and all of that. Yet in all of this, you also have a choice to say, okay, like I am done. I would just leave and go, just leave the country, Jackpot, like, a lot of the young people in Nigeria are doing. But you have decided to stay back, and you didn't just stay back. You said something earlier that really caught my attention. You said that, when they refused to make you the deputy governor of the VP of a particular party, you just left that party and went to another party. So you just refused to be quiet. You are coming back stronger. I heard you say earlier that you've learned, you've grown, and all of that. And quite a number of us have acknowledged that, because earlier when you were not here, quite a number of people were saying that, your assertions and your stand on a lot of issues have really shifted, and they were quite impressed. And so you are coming back stronger, and you are even getting ready to contest again. Where do you find that energy from? Because for me, I don't know. As someone who is just playing around politics, I don't intend to ever go into politics. I think that you're very strong. The kind of attacks, and not just you, a lot of Nigerian politicians have, in fact, people who didn't even know that they had some children, their children were found, people who didn't know that they had some relations, people who didn't even know that they were adopted children. Nigerian politics is suddenly, it has become a very terrible place. And so, but we find young people like you who are not just giving up, who are not allowing this to keep you down. You're still back in the game, and despite everything, you still want to put your best foot forward. What can you tell us, like the other people, like young people? There are a lot of people here, and some of the comments are really, really scary as well. I'm sure you're reading them, but you are still not moved. You're still like going. Please tell us. There are people who are also trying to.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a very,
thank you.
very, very good point. A very, very valid point. But this is what I'm going to say. If anybody is aspiring for public office, they should be open to scrutiny. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Um, a person that's aspiring to lead a nation or lead a state should not be hiring lawyers to protect his CV or his records, right? What what I take exception to is when people start rewriting or creating stories that don't exist, which I think just as human beings to human beings is not right. It's not right. I don't come from a family is that is controversial, right? The my family maybe because we're in Lagos, our history is so well documented. You know, it's so well documented that you don't. If you want to talk about my family history, then talk about it based on sources. Don't create your own narratives and propaganda and lies. So, what keeps me going is I understand that it is a strategy. And you see, the strategy might be loud on social media, and generally, bad things tend to catch fire faster than good things. But you see, the truth of the matter is that people know the truth. Because again, it is so well documented. You cannot take City Hall away. You cannot take the legacy of my family away. No matter how you want to lie, the truth will always catch up. And I feel that, in this whole experience, I got to understand the dynamics a lot better, right? So it's not something that I take personally because I know the truth. And my own job is to do my best so that people have access to the truth. Whether it is like, for instance, we have the Rhodes Vivour website now where all the front pages of the West African pilots, the Daily Times, where my family is mentioned, books where my family is talked about, who have access to it, right? And they can make up their mind for themselves. Politics is dirty, yes. I understand that, but you see, what really gets to me is you see all this games, because that's all it is. You see all these games going on online. You have people that will just come up and fabricate all sorts of lies, but then these people still go home and they see the poverty that they are living with. They have maybe they are rich, maybe some of these people they are rich, but they have family members that they are not lazy but they are poor. They are experiencing the difficulty of this country, right? So for me, and then the idea that these same people defend somebody who is wrapped in so much controversy, um, it's just very ironic to me. So it's not something that is. There's a popular saying that sometimes you don't really care much for the applause of certain people because you see what they cheer for, right? So the most important thing for me that I learned from that experience is go to the grassroots, have personal relationships, right? Because it's very easy to lie about a person when people don't really know that person, right? It's easier to lie on that person. So I've not rested, and that's what's given me the confidence that I have to keep moving. I've built relationships. you know it's funny. Let me tell you an anecdote that I recently experienced. I got a title, Obalefun, of Lagos, from Ife, the Obatala temple in Ife. And then some of my people were on a platform on WhatsApp, and they were saying, oh, the people, they've sold out. That how can they give Omoebo this kind of prestigious title? That it is an absurdity. It is unacceptable. One of my people in the group reached out to a lady that was championing this thing and said, this boy, Omowani, is our person. His family did this and this. Is this and this. Yes, his mother is Igbo. Yes, his wife is Igbo. His father is Olawale. His grandfather is Akinwumi. His great-grandfather is Bankole. He's our son. The woman said, no, 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 no. It's a lie. It's a lie. They got me on the call. I spoke to her. She now said, oh, well, she said, well, this one now is he said, she said. That the only thing that can solve this problem is Ifa. That she has a respected Ifa person that this guy should go to, and he will go and ask the Ifa priest. And I said, you know what, why not? This is going to be very interesting. So 7 a.m. in the morning, went to Alimosho to wake this Ifa priest was expecting him. So all of us were on a WhatsApp call. And we're seeing the man, he was seeing us. And she asked him, this Gbadebo, is he really
Omo Eko, is he really Yoruba? Is he really deserving of this title? So the Ifa priest threw it through the Okpele and he said, yes, so this young man is who he says he is. Then then the woman now said to me that since this consultation is going so much in your favor, why don't you ask him questions for yourself? Ask him questions by yourself. I said to him, I said to her, no, Motiko baby just the other day. I don't have any questions to ask because to get that title, you have to stay in isolation for about 3 days. So the priest said, what do you mean you came out of it, baby? I said, yes, I got the title Balefo. He said, yeah. I've been insulting you. Mudaran. I've been insulting you. Shanumi. He started apologizing. I'm so sorry. This man now went to all the WhatsApp groups that I was on and retracted everything he said and said he's sorry. This gentleman is this thing. This is just lies that we heard, but this is the truth. Now, after one experiences something like that, that man was innocent. Somebody told a lie. He did not investigate. You know, there's a primal thing about this thing. And he just carried on that lie. But when he found the truth, when he saw the truth, he was humble enough to say, I'm sorry. This thing is not as they told me it is. And so when you experience things like that, you can't take things like this personally. Some people have a strategy because they've been stealing from this state. They cannot come like Alhaji Lateef Jakonde and say, look at all the people we've given houses. Look at all the young children that can go to school now. They can't even come to debate. Which is actually why I'm very excited about this next election because Hamzat is going to have to come for a debate because it's the first time. They always come for debates in their first school. But you know, so you see these things and you know the truth, and so I can't let it get to me. I don't let things like this get to me. I'm fulfilling my purpose in life. I'm fulfilling my why. I'm going to be able to look at my grandkids and say, you know what, I did my best, I tried. My love for my people, I gave it my all, I tried. You know, and if by God's grace I'm able to show people of Lagos, you know, and implement visions for Lagos and be the greatest governor that Nigeria has ever produced, that is my goal, that's my ambition. Then I will also be very content and satisfied and fulfilled. You know, so you cannot, if you are going on a journey, you cannot stop and throw stones at every dog that's barking at you. You need to also be focused. It's very important that one also understands that I'm not running a cult. There are some people that will like me, there are some people that will not like me. I just think as young people that are going to face the brunt of the failure of this government, because all these loans is us and our children that are going to pay for it in terms of opportunity costs. Let us hold ourselves to higher standards, right? You don't have to like Gbadebo's rival. You can feel Gbadebo does not have this or that, but let's say based on reality. So that's it. Sorry. I know that I spoke for quite a bit, but yeah, that's it. That's me.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you once again, GRV. So we're going to take other questions quickly so that we can round up as soon as possible. So who's going
We
next?
have we have
Abiodun, you
we have
have.
Jagun Jagun and then Richie.
I'm
Yeah.
next actually.
Abiodun, we're prioritizing people that we haven't heard from at all today.
I also have a
So
question.
You've not heard from me. I
okay.
was here first.
No, you one sec.
Sorry, Solomon. Abiodun was the first guest on this live, so let him go before the rest.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
okay,
said it.
Yeah.
okay. I thought you'd already spoken. My apologies.
Okay.
Abiodun, please, the floor is yours.
Okay. Thank you so much. And Mr. Gbadebo, thank you. And I really envy your courage, your tenacity, and over the years, I've studied your political career, and I'm quite impressed. You've inspired hope in me as a person, as a young person, seeking probably will be seeking a political office in the nearest future. Thank you. So, you've stated that democracy has failed in Nigeria. I actually have lots of questions, but I'll just frame it in three categories actually. So, but since democracy is what we are talking about, so I will start with democracy. You stated that democracy has failed in Nigeria, actually, and I think many Nigerians would agree that democracy has actually not delivered the outcome people expected in terms of security and economic prosperity, etc., etc. Now, we should also be able to differentiate between democracy as a system of government and performance of individuals. Now,
100%.
with that, I would like to understand your position, more clearly on the failures of democracy. Now, if you believe democracy has actually failed, what alternative are you proposing, for Nigerians? And if by chance, you win in the next election, how are you going to promote your alternative to democracy? Because you are winning on the platform of democracy. That's my first question. Now, I want to my other questions are now on your performance should you become governor today. Lagos State currently generates up to Lagos State currently generates
Abiodun,
up
you should
to
round up in like 30
um
seconds.
yeah. Lagos State currently generates up to 2 trillion naira, if I'm not mistaken, and with a population of 20 million people. What credentials do you have to lead the largest economy in West Africa? And secondly, my last question is about people with disability. How is your government going to be inclusive of people with disability, and how are you going to create accessibility for people with disabilities in Lagos State? Because
All right then.
right
Abiodun, I
now,
think you should round off here because we have a
yeah,
stockload of
I'm rounding
people.
down in about 20
People with
seconds.
disability.
I'm rounding down in about 20
You've
seconds.
exceeded 30 seconds. Let him take it on from here, please. Your questions have been noted, especially the last one on people with disability. So,
You
GRV, I
won't
think you
understand the
can come in
questions
now
about
and give
people
a
with
holistic answer.
disability if you did not hear what I'm about to say. So my
Let
question
him
is
finish.
for
Let him finish. Go ahead.
my question is for accessibility for people with disability. Currently, 98% of the public buildings in Lagos are inaccessible, including transportations, including banks. So how are you going to solve that issue? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Your first question, I think that you've already answered it, to be honest with you. I love the fact that you clarified it in terms of the system versus the failure of the politicians, which I actually 100% agree with you. Like I said when I was talking earlier, Alex Otsi in Abia State is a fantastic example of democracy yielding dividends, where you see how people celebrated his election into office. You see how people are constantly engaging the feedback loop and how he's delivering for his people, right? So that's definitely a wonderful example of democracy at its finest. So I agree with you. I think that our democracy still needs to be tweaked so that it can become the word is not bulletproof. It can become immune to personalities that can seek to destroy it. I'll give you an example. I said when I was debating in 2023 that in the first 100 days I'll open up the accounts of Lagos and benchmark items in terms of procurement. So, for instance, you might have seen the budgets from the State Assembly where a generator was budgeted at, I think, 140 million for one, and that on the market costs about 16 million. Now, if you benchmark in your accounting structure that a generator costs this amount, so even if someone wants to enter a different number, it cannot compute, right? You're now creating institutional systems that can then be immune to corruption, right? I said that in 2023, and it's still something that I maintain. In doing that, you significantly reduce the amount of monies that are being stolen from our commonwealth, right? So I feel that we can tweak our democracy, the institutions, INEC, making it a lot more independent so that
the votes of people will count, so that the people then feel indebted, the politician feels indebted to the people, and if he feels indebted to the people, he has to deliver for the people, because that's the only way he can get back into office. The moment we can achieve that dynamic, you now have leaders that go into office to perform for the people, not for themselves or for a godfather, to perform for the people. Once we start to achieve that, we start to have accountability, and then you start to have people that are listening to the people, which is not something that's happening so much. You see that our political elites are really in that, they're very cut off. It's very cut off, especially in the period after the election. And then when it comes close to election, you start to see people start talking and attempting to perform in a way that apparently they are listening. So that was the first question. Now, I agree with you. I like your clarification. The system, I think, is the best for what we have. I still feel that we need to make it more peculiar to our peculiarities. And yes, people can either make our democracy be wonderful or look like a failure. The second question about, you see, there's something about when people talk about Lagos that I find extremely peculiar. It's always focused on money, the size of the economy. It's never really focused on the impact. You never hear, you always hear the number of IGR, but you never hear this number of affordable housing. You never hear this number of children getting quality type of education, or how we're paying our teachers so much more compared to other states, or how we're paying our doctors so much more, how the quality of healthcare and education in Lagos is compared to, I don't know, South Africa or Egypt or even England. There was a time, there are a lot of political historians on this call, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but there was a time where we had universities where international students were coming to study, where we're producing some of the best doctors in Africa, right, in this country. So I want to have conversations about the translation of these monies, right? I'm going to ensure, I've never claimed to be a financial expert. I've never claimed to be that. So I'll ensure that I have the most brilliant finance brains behind me, right, as governor of Lagos. But those brains will focus on how they can earn the public trust by spending the Commonwealth for the benefit of the people. So that when people feel that their government is looking out for them, they'll even be more inclined to pay more in taxes willingly, because the net benefit to them is higher than what it is today. What I am is an expert on visionary urban planning and mass housing and design, which I feel that Lagos is in bad need of. We've had lawyers, we've had accountants, and that's why the focus has always been so much about the money that the state generates, which is good and it's important. Lagos has been making money since the 1700s. We're producing millionaires. If we had billionaires then, Darocha, you have people that have been seeing money. We've been seeing money in Lagos. It's not today. What we need now is a state that is visionary in its organization, visionary in its planning, visionary in its systems and its management. And I'm talking about holistic systems where the drainage system is linked to the waste disposal system, which is linked to the local government and how it's earning income from properly separating waste and converting waste, and is inspiring and ensuring that people are also participating in that system, so they're also getting credits for that, right? Empowering our youth, giving them skills. We have this huge youth potential. A lot of them are wasting away on the streets. How do we, at the ward level, at the local government level, give them skills that make them employable, right? So we always talk about this money. I want to change that conversation to the impact on the human being as a unit of development. That young man on the street, that elder that has retired and is wasting away at home, and she's actually getting sick out of loneliness, not because she needs to be sick, but there is no system in place at the ward level to encourage exercising, to encourage preventative medicine, to encourage even tapping into the knowledge of our elders. You see, abroad, you have creches right next to old people's homes, and there's that symbiosis that is existing there where there is play, there's a joy de vivre. These other things that have a huge impact on the quality of life of human beings, right? So again, I never claim I've not worked in finance. My training is architecture. I have interest in real estate, construction. I have interest in commodity trading, but I will not tell you that I'm the finance economic expert. What I will have are the best minds in managing economies. And I am not somebody that's insecure about my brilliance or intelligence. I do not mind being around people that are way smarter than me in terms of economics. I am a fast learner. I might not be the smartest person, but I learn very fast. But then I have the capacity to be around some of the most intelligent people in the world. And I will have those kind of people on my team to ensure that the economy of Lagos will be handled and will be in safe hands. My vision is to translate that money that we keep talking about to affect and impact that young lady in Oshodi Solo, that young boy in Badagry, right? Let him feel it. Let's stop talking about this money like it's in the air. Let them feel that they're in Lagos State, the city of excellence, right? And then to your last question, fantastic question. There's so many people living with disabilities in Lagos State. Unfortunately, you are not really seeing them because, like you rightly said, a lot of places where they can be interacting are not accessible. They're not planned for. So in terms of urban planning, in terms of policy making and design, we'll put into law accessibility laws to ensure that the differently able people are able to access buildings that we're doing, buildings that we have, especially at the ward level, local government level, government housing, and also as part of the laws for planning approval for buildings that are, that are going to be built during my tenure. I think it's extremely important. Also, not just buildings, but transportation systems as well, right? Transportation systems as well. We need to ensure that everybody can enjoy and benefit from a new Lagos, from our Lagos. I think I've answered 3 of your questions.
We'll take Baron. Hang on here because we'll go in the order of the stage. So we'll take Baron. We'll take Baron, Richie, McNoon, and then we'll take Jaga and Yoruba Greatness. So Baron, go ahead. Yeah, we will. We'll come back to you once the people that haven't spoken have gone, yeah?
Yeah, so thank you very much, Solomon. God bless you. GRV, God bless you for coming on the space. It's been a nice time having you here. So my question is very simple. This past how many years? Almost 4 years since the last election. What would you say was your greatest lesson you learned from playing the opposition? Because to be fair, I observed how the election went for you. I think I was at Festac when you came to Festac to do the Labour Party stuff at Festac. I was there with you, and I saw you exercising and everything. I saw how you moved, but along the way, I started seeing that the media it was a bit disjointed. There were a lot of the information on the media about you as a person, and it had to do with opposition. So would you say you've learned how to play opposition politics, especially as it concerns Lagos State? You've learned how to do things differently? Or let's say you're sticking to the old ways of how you did the last election. Have you learned anything from the opposition and how this last election treated you? Thank you very much.
For GRV, go. Again, oh, I don't want to. I don't want to ask GRV question. So
Okay,
maybe
we'll
this
come
week
to you. Hang on,
is
hang
this
on.
like the last? Is this like the last question for GRV? Because some of us are not very, very, understanding and all that. Because GRV is trying to talk to his people and their people are not listening. And this is just like the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, Richie, let him answer. Richie,
Your people
let
are
him answer the question.
your people are irredeemable. So I don't even know. My question, let me quickly ask this one. How
No,
do you
no, no,
even
no, no, no,
intend to
no,
do
no,
that?
no, no. Yeah. You have to respect the stage. Let him answer the question, and then we'll come into you next. GRV, please go ahead.
Okay, I think anybody that still sees life the same way they saw life 3 years ago has wasted 3 years of their life. Right? I'm a young man. I just turned 43. I have a lot to learn. I'm moving in spaces that I don't really have any peers that I can look up to. So there's a lot of learning, there's a lot of rethinking, a lot of taking myself out of my own perspective to put myself in other people's perspective, right? Also understanding a lot of my privilege, right? I'm not talking about privilege in terms of money, privilege just in terms of even worldview, right? People can feel a certain way because they might not have been exposed to the same things that I've been exposed to. And if what they feel is valid in the sense that it's actually going to affect their lives or change their lives or has impact on their lives, then that is a view that must be taken and really weighed properly, right? So for me, I feel that I'm a work in progress. I'm going to keep learning. Again, I started this journey very young, so there's a lot of learning that has to be done, and I'm actively doing. Also understanding the terrain. I said this earlier. Well, I think if one sits back, and just takes time to look at things, without ego, without emotion, to get a better understanding of the terrain, you'll be able to move in it much better, right? And ultimately, just understand what really matters. What really, really matters. Because at the end of the day, there were many, many spaces, there were many, many talks, there were many accusations, there were many lies, but Peter Obi still won in Lagos, right? And Peter Obi would not have won in Lagos if people from different tribes did not vote for him. I was in the PDP. I told you I was in PDP in 2019 up until before I left. Even before 2019, because we built structures before we contested for Senate. We had never won Alimosho. We had never won Kushofe. We had never won Shomolu. We had never won Ifakojai. Right? The kind of numbers that came out, you could see that this was a broad-based position that people took. So there is that. But there's also an understanding that, what is it that really matters on the ground on the day of election? If everybody wants to vote for you on the street, everybody loves you, but you are not organized, then what happens? If 5,000 people want to vote for you, but somebody can organize 20 people to stand at the top of the road and shoot guns in the air or bully or intimidate people, those 5,000 people will not be able to vote. And 20 people would have held the destinies of 5,000 people. So what you said is very, very valid. I think that one must aspire to ruthlessly grow. You have to be ruthless about it in growth. You have to chase it with energy and vigor, and just understand what really matters, right? And I think I've done my best to try and do that. When you have, for instance, we talk, everybody says everything, but in Bejuleki, some people wanted to come out and vote, get on a boat, cross, and then be able to vote, and just a human chain stood and said, no, you're not going to vote. Now all those votes are lost. So that matters. What are you going to do to counter that in the next election? Right? So media is important, conversations are important. The gentleman talked about people being irredeemable. I don't agree. I don't agree. I don't think I would have made it this far if people are irredeemable. People can have an opinion about you. You'll be very surprised that some of your greatest people that insult you or criticize you become your biggest fans over time. Sometimes you just need time and consistency and growth and a passion to grow, the humility to also grow. I think that's also something that our politicians need. And I don't really have a choice in that matter because, again, I cannot join the ruling party. I believe that I will be best by getting to office by the power of the people because I operate best being accountable and being a servant leader. That is my character. That is my essence. So one has to grow. One has to be humble enough to grow, humble enough to understand mistakes that have been made, and be able to grow. I think growth is very important. Even if you are winning, even as governor, you should still be growing. You should be looking for how to do things better, how to come out of the box, how to take your people to next levels, not just to catch up with what is going on today. What are the next things that you can do so you can be on the cover of time as a revolutionary governor that has lifted your people out of poverty? And that takes growth. You cannot be comfortable staying in one place. I think I've answered that question. So thank you.
Richie, and then
Can I go now?
yes, your turn. Yes, it's your turn.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
GRV, some of us are not very patient people. Me, for example. Anyway, I tried to come in with a fake account like some of these guys. I couldn't, but because the Surge have been trying to invite me, because of stalkers, and I know why I tried to come in with something that is not my real account. But then I realized that TikTok, once you click my post, TikTok will show me you clicked. I will block you. All the stalkers here, once I'm done, I'm going to just select them one by one. And if you come in with a fake account to view my profile, it will still show me. I will block all of you. So what I want to tell GRV is not question. Because GRV, what you don't understand is like, when I look at you, you are Western trained person. You went to school in the West, you saw things and you are well educated and you feel like you can reciprocate that, in your place. But before you could return back, you see that your place, especially the place you come from, is completely overtaken. Overtaken by nonchalant people, like charlatans, overtaken by, you can see the level of agbero, even their obas evolved. So many things has gone wrong. You understand? And I see you as a young man that you think you can actually change it. Let me tell you what I think, honestly. For Lagos to be redeemed from this irredeemable tribalist, and you see the way you are speaking English and they are calling you Chinedu and doing all those things. This is who they are. You understand? For Lagos to be redeemed from these people, there has to be a presidency. A president that is intentional about making sure that real election is conducted in Lagos State. If not, Agboros are the chairman. How do you want to do it? It's very, I like your spirit. I like your this. And now you are no longer with P2B. I don't know how you want to do it, but I feel like Obasanjo could have done it if he wanted to. I don't know what happened. There has to be a president that will be on ground. Of course, you know that most of the people living in Lagos, these noisemakers, tribalist noisemakers, I know that, they don't have the numbers, right? But they will always, infiltrate because they can, organize that tautish and all those things. There has to be a president that will be on ground, put in real security, and say that people's vote must count. Until then, that is why I don't feel like this 2027, there is a chance. You will do your best, keep going. You are a man with a dream. Martin Luther dreamed this. So many people dreamed. Even this Balablu, after his trafficking of powder, he's dreamed, and today is there. It's good to dream. It's good to push it. But I genuinely feel there has to be a president that will emerge first. Any day there is a president real president, not this INEC president that emerge and says, let there be free and fair election in Lagos State. Then you will realize that bunch of these Agboros are just noisemakers. Most of them don't even have voters card, but they will always be used as tool and machinery to,
Okay, Richie. Thank you
submerge
for your point.
the will of the people. We are still coming back. I hope after GRV we are gonna continue this pace
No
because
problem. No
I have
problem.
a lot to let off my chest.
Thank you, Richie.
Because I came in here, I was hearing Igbo, Chinedu, all those. That means these people have not grown. They are still the same thing after how many years? Chinedu is
Thank
still
you. Thank
flying.
you, Richie.
When they are
Let's take the next person.
beheading their fathers, they are calling Chinedu. Bunch of
All right,
nonsense
thank you,
people.
Richie. Let's take the next person. McNoon, please go ahead.
My question has to do with your own character as a person, the character that I know about.
I'd like to speak to what Ricky said. Is that okay?
Why would you?
Yeah, let's 1 second. 1 second. Richie, you have to
Can
keep
I
stop
speak?
interrupting. Jarvie, please go
Can
ahead.
I speak to what
Respond and I
Richie
will take
said?
my turn. Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. Richie, I understand where you are coming from. I understand it's very easy to get despondent in a system like this. All I can just say is don't lose hope, right? That is the aim, right? That is the aim. The aim is to divide, the aim is to kill hope in people. Don't lose hope. When someone calls me Chinedu, it's my name. It's not an insult, it's a prayer. Chinedu means a child, a person led by God. If you call me Patrick, my grandmother gave me that name, the Patrick, a nobleman, patrician. My grandfather, Chief Akeomi Rhodes Vivour, gave me the name Gbadebo. Go and bring the crown. A nobleman led by God to bring the crown. So when you call me Chinedu, you're praying for me. It's not an insult. I'm not like some of these people that you hear that they were female at one time, they are male today, their name is Amoda, something, something, their name is something else today. No. So I don't, it's not an insult. Now, the other thing to think about is this. A lot of these people, for whatever reason they are doing this, all I owe my generation is to show and give an option, opportunity to see another way of doing things. That's all. And I will do that with consistency, with passion, with the resources that I have, right? And if it works, by God's grace it will, then we'll get to show them what our Lagos can look like. So if people are thinking that this next election, you are going to intimidate, or you are going to bring these thugs, or this, that, I spent the last couple of years of my life waiting and planning. President or no president. President or no president. It's not a game for me. It's not a game. So, and that's what really matters. That's why when people say, why didn't you just go? Because I'm confident in what we've built. I'm very, very confident in what we've built. It'll be like magic, right? So I have no doubt. So I understand if you just pause the tape at 2023, this and this happened. So, how we do this, how we do that. No. I want you to go and look at my moves since 2023 till now. Go and look at my moves. It's a different game. So please, just hold. I understand. People are being killed. Their children are being kidnapped. So many bad things are happening. I get it. It's easy to give up on Nigeria. But man, I lived in France. I lived in England. I lived in America. I never once tried to get a citizenship because my love for Nigeria is absolute. I don't have anywhere else to go. Right? And this idea that, you were Western trained, everything. Yeah, I get that. But I'm still a Lagosian. And even when I wanted to learn about politics before I ran for local government, I enrolled in Unilag. My master's in research and public policies from Unilag. And at the end of the day, the wonderful thing about being a grassroots politician, the wonderful thing about going out and actually looking for votes is because you learn. You find the pain points of people. You're spending time with people. It's not one godfather that say that, this is the candidate. Or I have to just depend on a party structure. I have to do the work. In doing that work, you learn, you build networks, you build connections. You become a better politician, a stronger politician, right? So, don't judge this game that's about to come by 2023. 2023, we made our mark, but we've grown. And don't give up. That's all I'm going to say. All right, next speaker can go ahead.
To express yourself. The only thing I ask is that you keep it civil. There's a zero tolerance policy on disrespect. If you do it, there'll be no warning. Okay, go ahead.
To regulate how I speak to the potential governor of Lagos State. I just hope that the people of Lagos will not give him that power for him to regulate how they speak to him if he becomes governor. And by the grace of God, he would never become governor of Lagos State. Now, so my question has to do on your own character as a person. You and I have history. I know that you don't like me speaking to you. You've been sending people to beg me, apologize, which I have also, I've accepted your apology. But my question to you on the public space today is that number one, what did my parents do to you that you came on Twitter, used your official GRV Lagos account to post their home address, posted my own office address, posted my own phone number, sent your boys to my parents' house in Ikorodu, sent your boys to my office at Okpebi, sent your guys to call me. I had more than 50 phone calls of threats, more than 100 text messages of threats, threat to life. And I called you. I told Abbas to call you. Our own lawyer. Both of us use the same lawyer. Abbas. I told Abbas to call you. Abbas said he called you, and then you were being stubborn about it, that why would I mock you because people chased you out of Alimosho? That why would I mock you? And then you were stubborn until I heard, because the case went to Alagbon, until I heard that Alagbon reached out to Abbas, and Abbas reached out to you, and that was when you started sending people to apologize to me, which I have accepted. Now, my own question to you, that do you think, in all honesty, that is a sound character that a potential governor of Lagos State must have? That's one. Now, number two, second character flaw, again, is that your own wife, a young man, young tech bro in Lagos Island, brilliant boy, young, brilliant Unilag graduate boy, worked for your wife for a whole year. Your own wife, who is my own beloved sister also, somebody that I respect, a thoroughbred professional, particularly in the academia, owed that guy 800 pounds for a whole year. The guy released WhatsApp chats between himself and your wife, where your wife was threatening him that, do you know who we are in Lagos? Do you know who my husband's family is in Lagos? And did not pay until the boy came out and called her out on Twitter. Now, the third and final one, which you also have to be very, very careful about, and I believe that perhaps you would have done that part, was that prior to 2023, you had no practicing license. You are not a registered architect under the ACON in Nigeria, and you kept on lying to people that you are an architect, you are a professional architect, and you know that what you are doing is unethical, what you are doing is unprofessional, what you are doing is borderline criminal. Borderline criminal. Again, borderline criminal. You see it in your own behavior as
All
a
right,
person.
please round up.
I'll round up. Solomon, don't gag me. This is a potential governor of Lagos State. Potential governor of Lagos State. But I pray that he will never get near there. Now, I want you to follow it. And I don't want you to come and rabble-rousing political statements. What I demand from you is an apology. Apology. If you won't apologize, it shows
Thank you,
that
Macnoon.
you have a terrible character.
Thank you, Macnoon. Thank you.
The sophistry was exceptionally commendable, I have to say. I never knew this person. I came I heard, or I came across him.
My people start screen recording. Start screen recording, please.
I did not interrupt you, please.
I'm gonna move you down because you don't know how to stop the interjections. I'm gonna move you down. GRV, please go ahead.
This is somebody that first time I came across him, he alleged that I was a drug addict. That I went to ISL, which I did, and he alleged that I was kicked out of school. On Twitter, on social media, just so authoritatively. And I said, you know what, it's one thing for people to not like GRV for whatever reason. But this one is is not acceptable. This person that he calls our lawyer was a lawyer of the Labour Party and a good friend. He wrote to him and we took the matter to court. There is a picture or a video where the same person in the office of my lawyer did a very performative apology, which thinking back I should never have accepted. Because this was not someone that offered a heartfelt apology for that kind of character assassination attempt. Now, after that, you would think that somebody that was sorry or apologized would be more circumspect. Because I had paid my legal fees to get him to even be the lawyer, to take the thing to court, and then I forgave. I was asked to forgive, I forgave. And then on Twitter, before I blocked him, I see all sorts of insults. So I now want to talk facts. The person that just spoke now, I've never sent anybody to apologize on my behalf. And I never will. Right? I never will. You are entitled to your feelings and your opinions. I don't have to see them because they are blocked. That's the first thing. Secondly, when you come and threaten a person's life on social media, that people will get you and all of that, because all this is recorded. I don't delete tweets. You can go on my tweet, search his name, you'll see things that will come up, what he said. I don't take threats to life seriously. I don't take threats to life unseriously. I'm very serious about my security. I'm exceptionally serious. I don't take it lying down. So when somebody is alleging that they are going to bring harm to me, I let you know that there will be consequences. Because you are now championing harm coming to me. There will be consequences. I'm not playing that 2023 politics, that gentleman thing. Oh. No. I buried 8 people in the last election. Right? So I take security seriously. Right? And that's the consequence that you saw. I've never sent anybody to your office, all this sophistry and lies that you're telling. Then you speak about so the one you say I sent people to apologize, that's a lie. You talked about my wife owing somebody money. In this life, there are people you will disagree with. I asked you to do something, you did not do it. Please, the messages of Chika are still online. I will pay 500,000 to anybody that can bring a screenshot where my wife said, "Do you know who my family is in Lagos?" I will pay. I'm committing it here. I will give that person 500,000 naira. The screenshots are online. Let the person bring it. Just like the way the other man came on this and said, "Your great grandfather wrote a book." Like all this, it's not necessary. You don't have to lie to make your point, right? Then you come and talk about my architectural registration and the fact that I have an architecture firm. I'm carrying out projects. I have partners that are registered with different bodies. I also have my own registration process, right? I've gone to some of the best schools in the world for architecture. You cannot take that away. The buildings that I've done, you cannot take it away. Eh? And it's very, very ironic that for a man that supports Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that uses lawyers to hide the certificates, for a man that comes on here and says, let this potential governor of Lagos be open to scrutiny, none of you people ask Bola Tinubu these questions. Like if you guys held Bola Ahmed Tinubu to this kind of account, I think we'll be in a better place as a country. From secondary school, that we cannot find classmates, and that is the person you support, and you come on here and be talking so philosophical. Criminal. At least they don't say I sold drugs in England or America or France. They don't say I'm cheating people or I'm stealing money from clients They don't say that I am looting or selling. I don't even like the irony of it and the performative is truly this one is actually sickening. It is sickening. It really is. Like if you were somebody that was supporting um anybody else, honestly, I will understand. But this the hypocrisy stinks. It really, really does. Please let's go to the next question.
Jang, are you there? Yeah. Awa, please mute. Jang, go ahead.
You mean as you
Please
mute?
mute.
Okay.
Yeah, mute, please. Jang, go ahead.
Okay, so my question's mainly about governance and Lagos State in particular. What would you say has been the biggest failure over the last decade in the governance of Lagos? How would your approach be different? And what enforceable action would you implement in the first 90 days of your term that would directly impact the ordinary Lagosian?
Okay, thank you. That's a fantastic question. I truly think that the main issue with Lagos is that the development of Lagos has been consistently tied to the purse strings or the interest of the ruling elite. So that brings in a lot of inefficiencies to the system. For instance, you look at Loma, you look at the PSPs, you have to know people in certain rooms, in certain places to be able to participate, as opposed to it being open and transparent and even like an Uber system where you have the truck, we take a picture of the truck, we inspect the truck, and it's a plug-in. This space is underserved, that is your route. This should happen in less than 2 weeks. 2 weeks. That's what should happen. But you see that's not the case because there are interests in there, right, that make the system inefficient. You look at the BRTs, the bus lanes. These are places where you can have a platform system where you and your friends can get a bus, right? Because we are underserved. There are people waking up in Ikorodu, people waking up in Koshofe, they are waiting at the bus stop for 30, 40 minutes at 5 a.m. We need more buses. The private sector should be able to come in platform-wise, right? So the government creates that platform and gives that legitimacy. Is that? Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, legitimacy. And the private sector can come in. This is also what is holding back our train systems. Right? I had a friend in the finance IFC, International Finance Corporation, and he said to me that they had approached the government several times that they were going to do the train systems all at the same time at once. Right? But there was pushback. Why? Because a person wants interest in it. A person wants a stake in it. A person wants to increase the value of the cost of this project, right, than what it's supposed to be. On the plane coming back from Abuja about 3 weeks ago, I sat down next to a lady that works with the AFDB, and she was telling me that they've had to take back over $300 million in monies that have been budgeted and put forward to Lagos and some other states, right? Because the government was not willing to use that money because there was no slush fund that they could take out of it. And the people that they had to employ to be in charge of those funds had to have the expertise in that field, but they wanted to put their friends, right? So you see a lot of things like this does not allow for the system to grow, for development to truly come in. Now, if you counter that against Alhaji Lateef Jakonde, right, you see that this was a person that made sure that none of his personal finance was there to be gained from development in Lagos State. His family could not bring in businesses. You will not hear that his brother-in-law is the head of BRT, or you will not hear that his son was on a board that is doing the coastal route. You won't hear anything like that. It was just pure maximum delivery, the best time for the maximum amount of people. And that's why Lagos was able to develop so quickly in 4.5 years. So quickly. So quickly. And that is what we need to take out of it. Now, to do that goes back to what I said earlier in this conversation. We need to open up the accounts and benchmark items, line items
in the budgeting, the accounting, procurement, engineering, architecture for Lagos State. So we should have a set value for the cost per kilometer of road. And this should be the best price because we should be budgeting and negotiating for economies of scale. If we are doing this amount of things, we should be getting a better price than what somebody else will get on the market. I should not be buying a GAC car or any of those cars as a government more expensive than a private individual. I should not be buying a generator for 10 times the price as a private individual would, right? So I feel that is one thing that will actually create a life, take on a life of its own, that even becomes impossible for the governor or for the civil servants to what's the word? To then corrupt the system, right? It should be engineered to prevent that. Another thing is access to information, and it ties back to openness and transparency. When people are demolishing houses, when the government is demolishing houses, when people are being scammed for their COOs, when people have to pay all these different prices, all these different rates to different people because they just want to build, a major issue we have is accommodation. If you live in Lagos, you know the cost of rent in Lagos, you know the charges for service, you know the charge, agent fees, legal fees, all of this is a nightmare to a huge population of Lagosians. All of these things need to be curtailed. There needs to be a system where there is open transparency. You should be able to go online to a website and understand that this particular plot of land is genuinely for sale. There are no government encumbrances. You should not have to go to Alausa, right? The system of land ownership should be so simplified so that it encourages people to develop more properties. In that way, you're indirectly increasing the housing stock, which will then reduce the cost of rent. Also, obviously, you have to add circulation. So if you're opening up Ikorodu Foreshore, Ibejuleki, you're putting high-speed trains so that people can get back and forth in the city faster and more affordable way. But at the same time, that capacity to buy land easily, right? This is what I mean by innovation. How we can tie our land sales, our land ownership to a blockchain, right? What are the encumbrances that can be helped with that? How can we do something so transparently so that even the indigenous communities that a lot of their land is being stolen, they are compensated properly because there is a formula to it. So you will not come and hear indigenous from Bejuleki coming out to say that, their land, they didn't get anything from it. Meanwhile, Dangote is coming to say that he paid $100 million or something along those lines for the land. Meanwhile, people that have had that land for generations walked away with nothing. So it's that openness and transparency that I feel needs to come into our governance, right? It needs to come into our systems. I feel that Lagos will benefit significantly from having platform system type governance. So I'll give you an example. We need more buses on our roads, cleaner, nicer, newer buses. The government cannot afford to buy buses. What if we have a platform where people could invest on seats in buses and then they get returns at the end of every month or at every quarter? And these funds are used to then procure these buses and they are run properly and giving people back returns. So you're also creating wealth and you're solving the problem on ground where people are having to wait under the rain for long periods of time. So I feel transparency, ensuring that our Commonwealth is not stolen the way it's being stolen, innovation in terms of platforming systems, and ensuring that development can move on without personal interest. So the best minds, the people with the best capacity are in positions to drive Lagos forward. I think in the first 100 days, that will be what I'll be looking to do.
Thanks very well. So we'll take the last couple and then we're going to close. So you're about greatness. Go ahead.
No.
Solomon,
I'm here to
when
speak
am I
as well.
next?
TV for that.
Oh,
I'll
TV
be
for Niger.
after,
My apologies.
I'll
Actually,
be
so
after your back breakdown, right?
the order is TV for Niger, and then Zaza, and then you're about greatness.
No.
Solomon, what
I
about
was
me?
after
Can you hear me?
Jakun.
Hello? Solomon.
Okay, let's take TV for Niger, you're about greatness, and then
No.
Zaza.
I was way before TV.
No, you weren't. TV. TV
You
was
said
here
Jackal,
earlier.
Jackal, and then
Hang
me.
on,
Then you now
guys.
change the order.
Guys.
Why am I being pushed to the back?
Guys. I'm the moderator, okay?
Yeah,
So
but you said Jackal, Jackal, and then me.
first of all, stop interrupting me and allow me to set the stage, okay? So it's going to be TV for Niger because the order suggests that it's TV for Niger. He was here earlier, okay? Then we'll come to you, Yoruba Greatness, and we'll take Zaza. Please be patient. TV for Niger, go ahead.
Thanks for the opportunity. GRV, I respect you. I like your intelligence. You have future ahead of you. And my question is, ADC party you are in, mantra is to protect the northern interest. How are you going to protect Lagos from land grabbers? Perhaps you become the Lagos governor. That is my question, not too much.
I do. I understand that. But I also plead with everybody to also try and understand that all of us understood from the last election that we cannot go into this next election with a divided house. We all agreed. We all agreed. These are conversations that I had with every presidential candidate today, apart from Sheyi Makinde, because I did not know he was going to run. But everybody on the ballot today, I've had this conversation face to face, one on one. We cannot afford a divided house to go into this thing. So we said we are setting up a coalition. My job is set up coalition in Lagos. I'm not responsible for coalition at the top. That's above my pay grade. I'm doing my coalition in Lagos, and we're very, very, very successful at it. Which is what gave me the confidence to say that, in this one, I'm going to stay in this party. I know what we've built, and by God's grace, and with God's favor, we'll be able to succeed. So that's the first thing. Now, when we come to this conversation about land grabbers, I cannot speak for the whole of Nigeria. I can speak for Lagos. The biggest land grabbers are the people in government. If you go and ask indigenes of Ibejuleki, Ekpe, even Ibejuleki, yeah, even Ilason in Etiosa here, or even Makoko, where Alhaji Jakonde built property, Jakonde Estate for people at Ilason because he was bringing development and destroyed the villages that were where we call Lekki today.
Sorry, can I interject, please? Sorry, GRV. The land grabber, are the people that would demand for give us water give us Ruga, give us this, give us that. I'm not talking about.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that clarification. Thank you for that clarification. And this is something that I think this was what actually caused my problem with a lot of people as far back as 2021, when Ruga was a big thing, when the waterways conversation was a big thing, and that's where I called Tinubu Afon Jagaban, that people then started to take as though I made a slur against Yoruba people. No, it was the fact that Tinubu was quiet when people like Akeredolu were voicing out the against the injustice that was happening to his people. People like even Sheyi Makinde were voicing out, and they championed Amotekun. And they took a stand against the waterways and Ruga. This was something that I took a stand against as well. Just Google my name, Gbadebo Vivour, waterways, Gbadebo Vivour, Ruga. So for me, while we are part of a federation, the land rights of my people are sacrosanct. They are sacrosanct. This is something that has come down from generations. It's not something you just give up. Right? So no, that is not something that I buy into See, I believe I've been to Namibia where they have a ministry of meat. And their meat is high grade. They export their meat. It's fantastic. If we want to take this meat thing seriously, let us take it seriously. Let us sit down as a people and say we are going to take this meat thing seriously. But if you are not ready to take it seriously, I'm not going to inconvenience my people. No. That's my answer to your question.
Please go ahead.
I'm going to be quite straightforward. Mr. Chinedu, I actually see you as a Trojan horse, but I will go straight to my question. I've been on this platform now for about 2 hours. I've not heard you speak one word of Yoruba. And Lagos is Yoruba land. So how are you going to prioritize Yoruba language in Lagos? How are you going to prioritize Yoruba culture in Lagos when you've not even spoke one word, not even a greeting? All we've been hearing is "Espera, espera, 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 espera." It's not a yeah, we're very welcoming. But priority is for the indigents of Lagos. I'm a Lagosian, and I hold my Yoruba-ness with so much pride, and so it is very important to me as a Yoruba Lagosian and as a Yoruba Nigerian. How are you going to make sure that our history, Yoruba history, is brought back into our schools?
God bless you.
How are you going to
Can I
make,
answer?
excuse me, how are you going to make sure
Okay.
that Yoruba culture is brought back so that we can now use it for international tourism worldwide? I've not heard you speak one word of Yoruba. How are you going to make sure that Yoruba language is prioritized even in our governance? How are you going to make sure that Yoruba signage is
Yoruba greatness, I think we get the point, so let him respond.
posted
Okay.
across the whole of Lagos
Mr.
State?
Moderator. Mr.
Yeah,
Moderator.
yeah.
Please, do you agree with what she said? I've not spoken a word of Yoruba on this call at all. Be honest. Be honest with me.
I don't recall. I don't
Okay.
recall. So yeah, because I've been sort of in and out, but I don't
Fair
recall
enough.
you speaking any Yoruba.
Okay, don't recall. Okay, so I narrated a whole story. But you know what? I'm not even going to fall for this trap again. I think that what you said is very, very valuable, very, very important, especially the history part. The history part is so important because a lot of times we find that we've lost ourselves because there is no
Can you
continuity. Please,
reply
can
me
I
in
finish?
Yoruba?
Please,
Can you reply me in Yoruba,
Do
please?
not, please, hang on. Let me just address her. Please do not interject, okay? He'll respond how he chooses to respond. You can't tell him how to respond, okay? Same way I didn't ask you to address him in Yoruba, okay? Do not interject and tell him how to respond. Please go ahead, Javi.
yes. So, what was it? Okay, yeah, I was talking about Yoruba history and history in general. Um, Extremely important, and that's something that I've spoken about even before I ran for Senate. You can Google history, the future of Nigeria. Gbadebo was Vivour. It's an article I wrote. It's still up. It's still online. Google it to get my thoughts on history, especially Yoruba history. Yoruba language is also extremely important. As part of my tech company, we're working on Yoruba AI and trying to create a situation where we can take language forward, right? You find that people are learning Mandarin now in University of Lagos. There's a place where people can study Mandarin. What are the things that we can put in place? So something that we are working on at RV Tech is converting. So there are already summaries of books online, right? So if you please, can I finish? Can I finish? Please, can I finish? Can I finish? So the books, like for instance, you want to read 14 Laws of Power, is summarized into an audio version of 10 minutes, right? Now it's taking that and converting that to Yoruba and other Nigerian languages as well. Because for us, it's very important to bring this knowledge to grassroots and people that might not be able to read English, right? So that's extremely important to us. Now, to this conversation that she's trying to bait me in, because again, for me, culture, whether it's being part of a Adimu or being the Obalefon of Lagos or being aware of the Coca masquerade, there's culture that we are engaged in. And it will speak for me. I'm not going to come on here and pander to you where you will now, because you came on this call, first you tried to pass off the word Chinedu as an insult. I guess in your mind you think it's an insult. And then you called me a Trojan horse. So you've already started on the wrong foot, and I'm not going to pander to you because even if I were to speak so beautifully in Yoruba, Mogbo Yoruba, Moso Yoruba, it will not still give you that feeling that you want. You are going to find intonations. How did he say this here? Or how did he say that there? Right? But all is going well. Everything is going to come together. When we start campaigning, you will see. So if this is so important to you, when you see me campaigning all across Lagos, if you still feel that way, that's fine. You don't have to vote for me, right? But for me, culture is very important. Yoruba history is extremely important. And not just Yoruba history, the history of how we come together as a people, linking ancient Yoruba kingdoms to ancient Kush, to ancient Kemet, to build an African. Because even when you even talk about this, nobody's even talking about all the people that were carried away to the Americas. Their links to Yoruba land. We still celebrate all the people that were doing the kidnapping and selling people, right? There's a lot to learn from the history of the Yoruba nation on this continent. And even linking, creating the links to Brazil, creating the links, because there's no reason why people should be able to go for pilgrimage to Israel or go for pilgrimage to Mecca, and we cannot have the same thing for Onishashe people, right? So again, I know what we are bringing, I know what I'm going to market, and you are going to see that in this campaign. But I'm not going to pander to you on this call. I don't have to. But thank you.
Zaza, go ahead.
pé Chinedu ló sọ wípé orúkọ ẹ̀ ń jẹ́ lẹ́ẹ̀kan. So
Sarge, is this a...
all right, let me ask him. Let me ask him again.
Head. Ngboyin, go ahead.
GRV. Okay. Okay. Ìbéèrè
Who are
tuntun
these
lélẹ̀.
people? Where did
Interrupting.
you bring these people
If you
from?
keep interrupting, I'll move you down. Okay? It's the last warning.
GRV
That's
ni
the
mo fẹ́
last warning. Okay? Stay mute. Zaza, go ahead and finish your point. All right. Stay on mute, please. Zaza, go ahead.
question lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀. And
All right, go ahead.
ṣé GRV ń gbọ́? Ṣé GRV ń gbọ́?
He's there. He's
Okay,
listening. Go
okay,
ahead.
This is
okay.
a Yoruba platform.
All right. Let me move him down.
Don't invite me to this
Ìbéèrè
useless place
alákọ̀ọ́kọ́.
again, no. Is this a Yoruba platform?
Yeah.
Ìbéèrè
Thank you very
alákọ̀ọ́kọ́
much.
ni wípé ṣé GRV ṣetán láti ṣiṣẹ́ pọ̀ pẹ̀lú àwọn amòfin ní State of Assembly láti protect àwọn Yorùbá tó jẹ́ indigene Lagos from being disenfranchised politically, socially and economically. Ṣé GRV ṣetán láti ṣiṣẹ́ pọ̀ pẹ̀lú wọn? That's ìbéèrè alákọ̀ọ́kọ́ nìyẹn.
Sorry,
Ìbéèrè
sorry,
ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kejì.
Zaza.
No, but you know I
Sorry,
answered
Zaza.
this question
Sorry,
earlier
Zaza.
on. But you know I answered this question earlier on. I told you about the importance to me of indigenous rights, how they are being dispossessed of their lands. I said this earlier. I said we need bursaries for indigents because a lot of Lagos indigents are in a lot of poverty. For a place that produced such wealth in the 1800s.
When you finish answering that, because there are two
No, this
questions.
is the last question. This is the last question. I'm going after
This
this
is the
question.
last
That's what
question.
he
I
said.
have
This
two
is the last
questions.
question. So can I just answer, please? Can I just answer, please?
I have two questions.
Well, you've asked, my brother, you've asked your question now. Let me answer your question now. I've been on here for a good amount of time, and I've done. I think I've done justice to a number of questions and answered as honestly as I can. All right. So thank you so much. So what's working with the State Assembly to ensure that the rights of indigents of Lagos are protected is a paramount priority for me. You have a situation where it's not even the level of poverty in Lagos Island, the level of poverty with their worries in Alimosho, the level of poverty in places like Ibejuleki with indigents of Lagos, how they are being dispossessed of their lands, is something that must be corrected. It's not something that's going to just go. We are going to look back at all of these things. We are going to call people together, assess how much was given to you as settlement for all these lands you were stripped of, all your ancestral lands, and we're going to correct that. We're also going to make sure that bursaries are made available for indigents, right, in Lagos. So just, it's not, this is now a survival situation because unfortunately in Nigeria, poverty only creates more poverty. So yes, I will work very closely with the State Assembly to ensure that the rights of indigents are protected. Thank you so much. Mr. Solomon, thank you so much. Thank you so much for this. Thank you so
Wait,
much. I'm very
no,
grateful.
nobody is asking other questions.
Any
No,
other time,
Nobody is
that you
asking me
need me to
questions.
come on, just let me know.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have other things that I really need to get to. It's quite late,
Gbadebo,
as you can understand.
no, you've given us more than enough time. So I just, on behalf of the Surge, let me thank you. Because most of your peers aren't this accommodating. So I commend you for coming back. And we look forward to having you again.
Anytime. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Take care. You have a wonderful evening. And let me just clear a few things up for the people who are still listening. Listen, the Surge is a bipartisan platform. We don't necessarily pledge our allegiance to anybody, and this idea that people must speak a certain language won't be tolerated. People are more than welcome to air their views, but please let's refrain from the idea of demanding that they must address you in a certain language. As long as we don't demand that, then I don't think this expectation that the guests should acquiesce to that should be expected. Please all follow the Surge. Next week we'll be hosting Tumba Shegun Shomi. So please kindly follow the Surge, follow the mods, and we look forward to having you join us for our next show. Until then, we bid you all farewell and I hope we will see you again next week. Thank you very much.